The 2026 Superkarts USA Spring Nationals takes us to the Midwest. And the summer stretch here has greeted us with humidity, heat, and even some unpredictable forecasted weather. You're joining Kart Chasers live coverage here just about 45 minutes from downtown Cincinnati, nestled in the hills of Batavia at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati Kartplex. Over 220 drivers in attendance here for the third consecutive year. The SKUSA Pro Tour makes this stop number 2 on the national tour. And boy, have we enjoyed the coverage that we've been able to bring you thus far. A beautiful facility, and in total, our kart class preview here, Rob, a little bit different that we can kind of walk them through, having shown this a couple of times over these 2 days. Specifically our key corners here that we've seen a lot of things, and today we have also got the noteworthy parts of the track conditions from the overnight rain.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Turn number 1, obviously precarious for a number of drivers all the way through to turn number 2. She passes at turn number 4 in a big way. Turn number 9, which SKUSA calls turn 11. But the final complex of corners, that 10, 11, 12, 13 combination, leading back to start for New Xander, has been fantastic in all the races.
And keep an eye on turn 3 in this map here, turn 9, turn 1, and turn number 12. The ruts off the racetrack have gotten deeper. They were dry dirt yesterday. They are mud today. And, well, the first class to go out and try and figure out what the differences of the circuit's going to feel like in race mode will be the big one. Pro shifter Mateus Morgado, the 2024 SKUSA Pro Tour champion, finds himself alongside the 2025 champ. The number 1 plate, the All-American badass Billy Musgrave, had a consistent and solid Saturday that has put him on the front row after the heat points were tallied. In total, 34 drivers are getting ready and waiting on the command to fire engines here, Rob, with a huge unknown in terms of what the track's going to be like for them, because their warm-up session drastically different over an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours prior with wet conditions.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The track has evolved over the morning. The sun's still shining, very warm outside. Tale of 2 programs, though, feast or famine for Marian Kremers and Kyle Wick yesterday. Kremers came away with the race win in the opening heat race. Trouble for Wick and the engine late in the run. You swap back to heat race number 2. Kremers gets taken out by Jay Irwin, and Kyle Wick running away to a victory. Those wins by both those drivers didn't hurt them that much here in the lineup for the pre-final. They're not that far back, but still, up and down weekends, consistency has put the 2 guys, Morgado and Musgrave, on the front row.
And Jay Irwin, as we saw there, rolling from the back of the grid. Hunter Pickett, like him, had 2 DNFs. Those 2 drivers will be ones to watch with the speed they have displayed. Both of them making appearances in the pointy end of the grid in qualifying, and a not-so-fun Saturday late morning, early afternoon, have them starting outside the top 30 here in today's pre-final. Irwin led the points coming in off the back of all of the chaos that has transpired in those heat races as timing and scoring cues on up. The pre-final grid for us here in a moment. Pro shifter will see the points lead. The points leader coming into Cincinnati with a big challenge ahead of him to try and leave Cincinnati with it, as now as they run, he finds himself buried down the standings, and the Brazilian, the former champion Mateus Morgado, currently the provisional leader.
You just saw that shot fanning through there. The breeze starting to pick up. Look at the trees in the background. The flags, SKUSA flags, were waving pretty big time. So the wind is picking up in a big way. Cloud cover coming in as well. Again, expecting potential wet weather later on today. My phone tells me about 4 o'clock. We've got a 4:30 start time for Pro X30 main event. Still nice out here now, but Xander, cloud cover coming in. Wind is coming up. We are looking for some maybe different conditions through the afternoon of the day.
And it certainly, right now, seems clear. But to the left of us and over the course of the afternoon, we could see some big curveballs thrown. For the moment, we seem clear. Sadly, we are not clear with all of our drivers making their way to the grid. I believe that may have been Ethan Boer, who had a very wild moment yesterday with his teammate Hunter Pickett. Stalled out there. Here's a look at the... no, still waiting on timing and scoring to get the session rolling for us here. But here's a look at where everyone will stack up on the grid. We know, at least from our side, what the provisional points were in the posted lineup. Morgado over Musgrave, Danny Formal and Massimo Valiente on row 2. Josh Conker, Kyle Wick off the recovery drive there in the Heat 2 win. Still will start from 6th. Marian Kremers from 7th. Jacob Gulick 8th. Gavin Bailiff, Lachlan Tomlinson on row number 5. Gage Corn another young superstar on the inside of Justin White. A pair of Marinellos on row 6. Teo Blynn's SKUSA Pro Tour debut has him 13th on the inside of row 7. And you saw there all the way at the back, Jay Irwin, Hunter Pickett to the lights for the first time today. Pro Shifters Pre-Final is green.
Solid start for Morgado. He's going to take it to the inside. One driver off further back.
AJ Myers.
I was going to say, is that AJ Myers again? His rough weekend goes even worse at the start of the pre-final here. Getting things underway, though, the GFC drivers attacked. A lot of issues further back. Andrew Budashow and one of the GFC drivers involved. A lot of contacts, Andrew, here in the opening circuit.
And somehow Mateus Morgado got pipped by both of the GFCs on this opening circuit. What in the world just went down? Kyle Wick and Danny Formal have escaped the opening couple of corners with the lead. Marian Kremer's on the charge now, looking for third. Wick looking for the lead from his teammate into turn 12.
This is big for Kyle Wick. We talked about the issues he had in that opening heat race with the spark plug failure that caused the engine issue. He gets himself out front, a big early move to the inside to get that spot away from Danny Formal. GFC's run 1-2. Big start as well for Kremers. Here's the replay on top as you see the issue further back.
Morgado front brake lock into the side of Musgrave, and I wonder if he got any help from Formal.
Oh, 100% he got some help in the back. Musgrave, look at that contact, grabbing the gear, trying to knock it down a little bit. He gets back on the throttle, having lost probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 spots. In fact, where did he go down to? Even further down the order. Tough one for Billy Musgrave, 11th at the end of the opening couple laps.
So as timing and scoring tries to catch on up here with everything that just went down, a crazy, crazy opening lap here. So disregard the pylon, but honestly disregard it anyway, even if it were right. It's changing again. Marian Kremer's on the move now, up to second ahead of Formal. Here comes Kyle Wick out of turn 14 with the lead of about 4 car lengths, but Kremer's to be determined here off the back of that opening heat race performance and the crash in heat number 2. He has not gotten off to a slow start by any means here in the pre-final, up to second and digging.
Kyle Wick coming off that victory in heat race number 2, quickly to the front here after that contact between Formal and Morgado over in turn 2. Morgado then into Musgrave, dropping them down the order. Musgrave has got himself back up into the 9th position, a couple of spots there on that last lap, but big opportunity. Look at this, actually the guys up front right now, the two that have DNFs in the heat races, both Kyle Wick and Marian Kremers. DNF their heat races, Wick in heat race number 1, Kremers heat race number 2, but they have recovered to P1 and P2 in the pre-final.
Oh, man, what a shakeup today is going to be here across the board. Musgrave on the move there on Justin White. Checking in further back. Look at Jay Irwin's progress. Big-time progress here for the number 6. He's already gotten halfway up the board to 19th as of last time by. He's gone by Charlie Stein, so mark him to 18th now. Working to the back of Ashton Henkel in the number 80 machine. A number of drivers up and down the board here as Musgrave continues to go to work. He couldn't get the pass done that time on Justin White. We check back, there's Irwin looking, not quite enough there to get it on Ashton Henkel. Marian Kremers continues the chase forward. 3.5 tenths back from Kyle Wick at the line. Henkel, Irwin, and then right in front of them is the 46 of Angel Reynoso in the Kart CRG USA, Kart CRG Guero Mexico entry in 16th.
Kyle Wick up 0.3 of a second on Kremers on that last lap by the start-finish line, picking up Irwin still working his way forward. As we know, Irwin he's up 14 already, up to P20 for Jay Irwin.
Well, as we check back in with the leaders here, Kyle Wick's going to be coming under pressure sooner rather than later. Here's Kremers with Formal and Morgado riding along with him. We've also got, unfortunately, one of the GFCs off to the side. Hunter Pickett, a scary moment at the end of the day Saturday and a rough start to Sunday. He's with Caleb.
Yeah, Hunter, again, an early end to your day yesterday and an early, end to the start of the day today. Just kind of tell me about a rough last 18 hours, really.
I mean, just unlucky. Nothing I could really do about it. Yesterday, a couple things happened that are out of my control, and again this morning, same, situation. So we'll just, get our kart ready. It's a little banged up, so hopefully we have a good main and stay safe and go quick. The GFC powered by Sweet Tech is on rails right now, so obviously Kyle's kind of showing that, so hopefully we can show it as well.
Thank you, Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to lay on that when you're coming out into the race as it is with a kart that has been having trouble in terms of being on the racetrack, but they know the GFC is quick. Xander, big pickup there, a move by for P3, I believe.
Yeah, Formal with a respectful wave by for Mateus Morgado, letting him have that spot. Danny Formal knows that even if he were to finish ahead of Morgado, that he would not be able to dethrone him for the pole in the main event. However, with Musgrave buried back in 9th, he would be able to move himself to the front row, and that is big time here when it comes to trying to figure out the main event grid. So looking at everything overall, this is a big time improvement here in the works for Danny Formal. He's happy to take some points, but again, if you're thinking championship, Mateus Morgado right now is just padding that leader board that he has at the moment already.
Starting to stack things up here. Trouble for Gage Korn in the 34. He out as well. The SKUSA crew pushing him off the racetrack. So Korn going to fall to the tail of the field. Quickly pick up on Jay Irwin, up another 6 spots since the last time we checked in. Make that 7 plus 19. Jay Irwin now into the 13th position. But remember, those results from the heat races, when tabulated with the pre-final results, it's going to keep him deep in the field still. Nonetheless, the battle up front continuing, and Kremers has been putting relentless pressure on Kyle Wick up front. Morgado's arrived on the scene as well. Top 4 drivers. There's that move to the inside of turn 11. Book it. Kremers goes to the lead, inside to the apex, and he'll cover down to the inside of turn number 12.
Big time move for Marin Kremers as Mateus Morgado now looks for second right off the back, and there's contact. Kyle Wick off the racetrack and spun around into the wall. He's stuck in the mud trying to keep it going. The officials can't help him. He'll have to leave it. He's trying to hold on to the clutch to keep the revs up, and now all those points, all the hard work out the window. His teammate Danny Formal up to second, and Kremers gets a big-time lead.
Oh, race control will be looking at that one. The contact coming through turn number 13 over to turn number 14. Midway through the race here for the pre-final 50-lapper for Pro Shifter. That was Morgado and Wick, and that could change some things. Already it changes it for Wick. Will Morgado be looked at by race control here for the contact in that corner?
Oh, this is chaos here unfolding in front of all of us right now as we watch Mateus Morgado. What will happen to the number 5 if he does get a penalty? Does Danny Formal move into that pole spot for the main? Billy Musgrave is on the move as well. Last time by, a decent lap for the number 1 plate. Here's a look at the moment. Moments ago, Morgado trying the move. Here's still nose to nose, and then again Wick. Honestly, I thought he was fighting it more than he was, but realistically, the moment they got past the middle of the corner, they were already stuck together. I don't think Kyle, even if he wanted to, right here, I mean, they're already touching, and then as soon as he got in the grass, there was nothing he could do. It would have been really hard once he realized that it was over with to bail out of it. I think so early in the corner where the contact's initiated, that's a tough one, Rob.
Yeah. That may be a racing incident, because as they came out of the corner, there were contact there. Again, like I've always said, I love what I do. I would not want to be in race control. It's not an enviable position at all. They'll have to make a call on this or a no call at that point as well. In the end, it's a rough one for Kyle Wick as he falls deep down the field into the 26th position right now. Still 7 laps to go. Wick able to potentially fight himself back forward, but looking for a position inside the top 2 rows with a good result here. That's going to go by the wayside right now.
Jay Irwin just clocked the fast lap of the race, mind you. He's already gotten into the top 10. This is unreal stuff here from the Kiwi. And valuable points made up on the day as well for Jay. I mean, this is going to certainly make the Saturday woes sting a little bit less. And again, who knows what will happen in the final results, but let's check in where he's at. He's already gotten another one. That is on Massimo Valiente. He's gotten past him, moved Jay Irwin up and into 8th. Now, again, the downside is he's still going to have, of course, those heat points that'll factor to the main. So while he's gotten up into the top 10 here to 8th, it doesn't mean he's going straight to 8th on the main event grid. It means that he will have to weigh things out and probably end up in the mid to high teens, depending, again, on how everyone else's attrition shakes out. Obviously, there were a number of major contenders taken out in turn 1. A.J. Myers is going to float to the back. Hunter Pickett, certainly a weekend to forget in terms of results, having to go from the back of the field in the main. But with 4 laps to go, Jay Irwin continues to hunt with an unreal pace. Wow. 24 spots and counting. He's got spot 25 right in his sights. Gavin Bailiff there in the 7th plate. Yeah,
0.4 of a second quicker on that last lap, closing up here on Gavin Bailiff. Irwin up on the wheel in the barrel art for PSL Kart, and the TKG barrel in front of him as well. Those drivers currently run in the 7th and 8th positions. Kremer leading by 1.2. With all that action behind him, Marian Kremer's able to stretch away a little bit here. It was 1.2. What is it this time by? Still 1.2 is both Kremers and Formal, turning 52.7s last time by.
Jacob Gulick going to work there a little bit further up the road. That was a fight in for 4th with Josh Conker, as Kyle Wick has continued well down the leaderboard. But here is Lachlan Tomlinson, Dominic Karai, I believe, back there. Here is the fight for P4. Musgrave, Conker, Gulick going at it. Morgado and Formal still nose to tail for 2nd and 3rd, chasing Marian Kremers. I don't think they're going to get there, but Billy's going to make up some points with this. Passing on Conker, last year's winner. In the same corner, Josh got that move done on Quarantine Russo for that win. Billy Musgrave into the top 5. And his championship title defense, when you look across the board at the sessions in Tucson, Rob, he never floated outside of the top 10, outside of Super Bowl, where he couldn't even compete. He finished in the top 10 in both heats, top 10 in the pre-final, top 10 in the main, and he's now 5th in this pre-final off a consistent Saturday, even getting knocked into the side by side in turn 2 on this opening lap. This is exactly the level of consistency that Musgrave carried forward to win last year's championship without scoring a single checkered flag.
That's it. And listen, just putting together a nice body of work here this weekend, especially coming off that contact in turn number 2, as you had mentioned. For Musgrave to get up a couple of spots, worked his way back. I think he was 11th at one point, gets himself now up into P5. Not done yet, potentially going to work on Jacob Gulick. Could be a solid starting position for Billy Musgrave for the main event this afternoon.
Oh, big moment there for Jay Irwin. A little bit too deep into turn number 12, a rare mistake. Thankfully, he had built up a big cushion over Gavin Bailiff, but that'll probably stop the progress, I think, as we enter the final lap here now. So Irwin all the way up to 7th. Unofficially, and needs to keep going, even though he'll probably have every bone in his body and every instinct saying, all right, just ride this one out, because if Mateus Morgado gets a time penalty for that contact, and again, we don't know what the officials may make out of it, but that'd be the only real question mark I could think of on the start. Also, if Formal gets any kind of inquiry for the contact into the back of Morgado in turn number 2. So there's 2 drivers that have had some moments in front of him that could put them further back, and Musgrave is going to go by, and he's also, again, someone Jay's got to worry about for the title as he fights with Gulick. And so is this man, Marian Kremers, on a last-second, just a couple of weeks out opportunity heading into Tucson. He will head out of the final turn to score the pre-final win over Danny Formal and Mateus Morgado. And beyond him, it will be Musgrave in 4th, Gulick to 5th, Conker, Irwin, Bailiff, Valiente, and Tomlinson, the top 10.
I'll tell you, that Musgrave-Gulick battle was good. A fantastic pass to the inside of turn 11 for Billy Musgrave, but a great over-under for Jacob Gulick. I think he was pressuring him coming back into turn 12. We didn't see that happen. I waited to pick them up over in 13, and I think Musgrave probably forced the issue to make sure he was able to lock that pass down in turn number 12. A great run for Musgrave. Remember, started up front, went backwards, went back forward again. After the contact in turn number 2, Musgrave's recovery to P4, big time for him. Kremers the win, though. Danny Formal kind of staying out of the way. Remember, he pointed Morgado by at one point. The contact in front of him between Morgado and Wick allows Formal to slide into P2. A lot of guys are going to be up front in this one here with an opportunity to score the race win. At least a handful, plus guys we're going to be watching coming from the tail of the field. Both Kyle Wick and Jay Irwin are going to be deep in the field for the start of the main event.
Watch this also on the gaps, right? If you do a 5-second penalty from Morgado, he was by 0.15 too close to Jay Irwin. He would go back to 7th, and Irwin would leapfrog him in the results. Now, obviously, that would only matter really in the overall tally of the heat points, right? And then, of course, tale of 2 sides here. Gage Corn out with an issue on the opening couple of laps. He went out, I believe, on lap 4. Andrew Boyd to show his return has been less than fun for sure. An issue in Heat 1 yesterday, and now going out in the pre-final along with his teammate A.J. Myers. And while the results finish up, we do have the unofficial standings of what that session just did for Marian Kremers and his championship hopes equally. Morgado on the racetrack, 3rd. Keeps the points from bleeding down too much, but Marian Kremers now moving up unofficially to 3rd in the standings here, 51 markers back from Danny, or from the point leader. Only a handful back from Formal, leaping over Musgrave, who recovers. Jay Irwin jumps up the board, and oh man, what this session could have been for Kyle Wick if he ends up with a top 5 haul.
I agree on that one. Tough one for Kyle Wick. Looked like he was going to be in the top 4 for sure. Ends up finishing well down the field.
Let's go down to Caleb here with our pre-final winner.
Thank you, Xander. Yeah, Marian, what a way to turn things around. Yesterday, again, just ends a little bit too soon, and today, that pace kind of looked alarming for the rest of the field.
Yeah, this is a good feeling. I mean, yesterday we ended the day on a low, so it's good to bounce back straight away like this. I told you yesterday I was looking for rain, but as you can see, the drive's not too bad for us either. So very confident going into this afternoon, rain or shine. I think will be a factor, and I can't thank my mechanic that enough for fixing the go-kart up from yesterday after the wreck. It was quite damaged, so this is a good comeback for us.
And again, Marian, it's been a long time since you've been in victory lane, and you got to think of all the years of all the hard work to get to this point. Is that thought of potentially being the race winner at the end of the day today starting to creep into your head?
No, not really. I mean, I won last week against this guy in Costa Rica, so I know what winning is like, and I'm sure we can do it again. And I needed the right package. I didn't have the right package the last couple of years, but Carlos gave me a great package, great power in the engine. Tad is amazing on the tools, and he's making sure the go-karts very fast. So, yeah, like I said, very confident going into this afternoon.
Thank you for the time, Marian.
Thank you.
So Martin Kremers, of course, enjoying that victory. Kyle Wick not so pleased with the contact over in turn number 13. Left him down the field to 26th. Able to claw back 4 to 22nd at the end of that pre-final. We'll see how that all plays out in terms of the fact that he won one heat race, DNF the second, or DNF the first, won the second, then had this issued 22nd. Going to be a tough starting position, but of course he'll be up on the wheel working his way forward. It's just the guys up front that are going to have open racetrack and potentially to pull away over the first half of that 25 lapper. That race set to go as the first main event of the day, 1:25 scheduled start time. We're into the pre-finals though, Xander Clemens. Lots of racing still to come. KA100 master drivers on the grid. They're going to get ready to roll here momentarily as we go wheel to wheel. Again, KA100 master. Let's send it back down to Caleb Vieska on pit lane.
Thank you, Rob. Danny, I know you weren't happy with the pace yesterday. Today it looked a lot better, I would say, getting yourself there in second. Tell me about it.
Yeah, first of all, I want to apologize to Mateus and Billy. Turn 2 in the start, I got into Mateus because I got hit from behind. It's probably not hard, but it's been raining all day, so the inside line is quite slippery, and I barely hit Mateus. Mateus locked up, and he hit Billy, so I apologize for them. Obviously, I never meant to do it. I actually pointed Mateus by on the straightaway just to hey, listen, I didn't mean to do that. Here's your position. Obviously, I passed him back when he had the issue with Kyle. Billy never got up to me, but if Billy got up to me, I would have pointed him by. You know, anyone that's raced me knows I don't race that way, so. But yeah, apart from that, I think I went a little low in the pressures. The first 3 laps I was on ice, everyone was passing me. Once the go-kart kind of settled in, I think I had decent pace. Not the best, not the worst. Marin had a little bit more than me, and I think Mateus did too. And obviously Kyle. So go back to the draw board, 25 laps the final. The good thing is we did 14 now, and I feel great. Compared to Phoenix, this is a different driver, an aspect of how physically good I feel. But yeah, go back to study. We tried something in the carburation there. I think it wasn't the right way for my driving style. That's what Kyle's been running, and he's been kicking ass. So excuse my language. So I was like, let's just do what he's doing. And yeah, every driver has a little bit of different finicky with the throttle, and it didn't work for me. So we just go back. But yeah, I'm happy. I think we start P2 in the final, or around there, P2 or P3, and we go from there. 25 laps, a long race. The weather's up and down, shows some rain, some doesn't show any rain. I think it's going to be overcast all day, so excited for the final. Hopefully I get some marshmallow, and if by people who knows that, some marshmallow grip out there, and we could go battle.
Best of luck, Danny.
Thank you. That's it.
Green flag in the air here for K100 Masters pre-final, but class act Danny Formal always here, Rob. No surprise at all to see or to hear his thoughts the way he did about turn number 2. And again, I'll make sure to apologize to Danny as well. And our quick look at the replay, right? I didn't have enough time, or make enough time, I should say, to look closely to see how much of a gap or lack thereof there was behind him. It certainly wasn't a big impact, and it was compounded once Morgado was already probably at the limit of his brakes, a little more, and then the left front locked, and off he went.
And listen, if you're a young racer watching the broadcast here on Kart Chaser, that's a driver that you want to emulate. That's how you want to handle your on-track actions, right? The way you race. And if you've made a mistake like that, pointing somebody by, man, you're going to gain so much respect in the paddock when you act like that. Danny Formal, one of the class acts in the field, no doubt about that.
Yeah, that is and equally a great lesson when you talk about young drivers looking for the best way to handle, media, even without seeing a replay, instantly off the racetrack, whether it's your fault or not, taking blame. It's always better to be more aggressive of taking ownership than the other way around, for sure. So we've got our third place finisher on the racetrack, who again was the other part of that turn 2 moment and had a number of moments in his own race. But the points leader, Mateus Morgado, standing by with Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Yeah, Mateus, I can see the frustration in your expression. Just kind of walk me through that race here.
Yeah, very sad, because they decide to not have bumper penalties in America anymore, and then it's just chaos. When you're the first guy, you just become the brake of the rest of the guys. I broke into corner 1, got smashed out of the way, and then down there in the last corner, smashed out of the way. So that's how racing is, I guess. It's very hard to race like this, because in Europe we have the bumper penalty, so you don't see these things happening. But here it's just something normal to happen, I guess, as Vegas was the same thing, the same thing. So I guess everyone should start just doing that.
I got to ask you about the incident with Kyle as well throughout the final corners. Just walk me through what happened there.
I was in the inside. When I saw him, to be honest, he was spinning in the grass, so not much I can say about it. It's better ask the guys that were behind.
Any positives to take away from this race?
Yeah, I guess I'm still P1 to start for the final, so that's at least something positive to take it out.
Best of luck, Mateus.
Thank you.
One of the things that we talked about, Xander, when we were doing the show at Tucson was, listen, Superkarts USA pulling the no front bumper off some of the categories, right? And again, we don't have the pushback bumper in the pro shifter category. I always say that puts the onus on race control to say, listen, we're going to call
here's a
issues.
look at what he was talking about as well. I wanted to make sure our production team caught this. Marian Kremers put a little bit of the chrome horn to his former teammate and buddy. This was the first lap, so this was the other half. We saw, obviously, and ran the replay of turn number 2 on the opening lap where Morgado was frustrated, and I don't know if he had heard Danny's apology or had taken the point by. I think overall he was just probably frazzled that whole race. When you think about it, that first lap, 2 moments, contact with Wick trying to get back up to his original spot. So 3 big, crazy moments that certainly throws your brain in a blender. I can't blame him for being a bit kind of riled up in that interview.
I think every driver's going to feel that same way.
100%. Yeah. It's easy for Danny to be able to be calm about it. His race obviously was pretty calm overall. But Mateus Morgado certainly turn 2, and then right there, great catch by our camera and production team as well about turn 13, turn 14 on that opening lap where he got moved again.
He got rooted twice.
Yeah, twice in 1 lap after starting on the pole and having the speed that he's had this weekend, the good run on the year. And we, like you said, we took the pushbacks off of these guys in KA Master. They've had no problem with it. Obviously, it's a lighter grid. There's a much bigger field spread in the lap times. But in general, the pressure is certainly at a much lower level for the KA Masters, so it seems to have not made a dent even with 20 of them in Tucson. X30 Junior has been relatively about the same. I don't think it's been any worse or better. If anything, I'd still say KA Junior seems to have provided us more gnarly moments. And Pro X30, turn 1 was still wild yesterday, we saw. But even to Gus Lawrence's credit, he was like, look, turn 1's a little bit rough. The pre-final, my rear tires were off in the air, but after turn 1, we're fine.
Yep.
And Pro Shifters had him without. And of course, it's a fun story to tell because, fun story now that Billy Musgrave ended up winning the championship last year. He was one of the biggest advocates saying, hey, we're pros. We can deal with it. We hate dealing with someone missing a shift and knocking it in, take it off. And then last year, of course, the winter Nats, you and I in Texas, watched Billy Musgrave get moved out of the way for the win on the final corner for Gavin Bailiff. Now, they've, of course, sorted a lot of that stuff out up front. And for the most part, the racing up front's been a pretty good respect level, I would say. But that first lap, in the case with Marian, I can understand Mateus's frustration. In turn 2 on that opening lap, I don't put nearly the harsh blame that even Danny's putting on himself there. That was we touched on it. It was going to be a treacherous run into the corner.
Now, they're all going to look back. Like you said, we didn't have a really, really good look at that contact between Morgado and Formal. Danny said he got hit from the back. We would have to go back and look at that. I didn't get a chance to see who may have got into him coming into turn number 2. But, when it comes to not having the pushback bumper, like I say, in the pro categories, it's race control and it's the drivers themselves, right? The drivers almost police themselves. There's a level of respect. You take me out, maybe be ready to get taken out again. You got to, put the hand over the eyes and say, listen, I'll let you guys kind of handle it yourselves. But race control has to be on top of it. That's why SKUSA's invested in the video marshalling system. There's a lot of videos, a lot of cameras around this racetrack. If something happens, it should be caught. And if the SKUSA race control deems it a penalty, drop the hammer and the drivers will learn. Otherwise, they will not.
Yeah, and again, as we watch the battle on here in K Master, I mean, that going on that respect factor, right? Marian Kremers, I don't think he would have been upset with anyone if he would have gotten moved out of the way in Tucson when he was defending the way he was in that race. So, or at least if he would have been or would not have been or anyone wouldn't have known, I think his actions there on Mateus says that message, hey, I might be defending. I'm not going to get mad at you if you move me up one lane because I'm willing to do it to somebody else. And I think Marian would agree with that. And personally, right, from a driver and a bit on the entertainment aspect, but really more so from wanting to watch good racing, there's nothing more frustrating than watching, just a white line fest from start to finish.
Yeah,
there's a tactic to it. I won't say that it doesn't take skill because it does, because a corner like here is easy. We've seen a lot of crossovers. But without having the pushbacks in the pro shifter class, you can't get away with that, because they can move you up just a little bit if you're being egregious.
I've always said if I'm leading the race and I'm low lining and defending in every corner, I'm ready to get tapped in the back. I'm ready to get moved. It's if you're going to lap after lap after lap, if you're running the defensive line on a track that maybe plays to that, you're going to expect to get moved. And it's going to happen, and don't bitch about it.
Good way to put it. 3 to go here. And we don't have to worry about Mario Barrios getting moved out of the way, at least it looks like.
No.
He's got another second lead. It's not a 10-second lead like yesterday's main. It's not even a 3-second like it was in yesterday's pre-final. Phil DeLeo has eaten his Wheaties here on this Sunday morning and picked up some speed, and we're following this battle here for third
This is great.
and fourth. This is Junaid Din, Josh Sarche, that's fourth, fifth, and sixth. Christian Smith was in the mix of it. John May a little bit up the road. Jay May has picked up speed after being a bit off in quali compared to where he was when he ended the day yesterday. So he's improved, and in fact, he's only a second away from DeLeo.
Sarche has been all over Junaid Din here throughout the laps that we've watched, pushing in every corner to try to find a way by. Has not been able to slip through yet. Junaid Din was in that battle yesterday as well for a top 3. So good pace out of both these drivers, although they are about 4 seconds behind Jonathan May running in third still. With 2 to go, Barrios gapping it up by about 0.2 of a second on that last lap. It was a second, but now 1.2 seconds. Barrios back or ahead of Phil DeLeo, the point leader coming into the 4th round of the Pro Tour here today. May, Din, Sarche, Smith, and De La Garza Elizondo with the 7 drivers in the field here this weekend.
And with a lap and a half remaining here for Mario Barrios, the points haul that he's got here, he's got the fastest lap of the session again by 0.2. That doesn't pay anything in this session, of course, but it will in the final, and every point will matter as he tries to continue to eat into that gap for Phil DeLeo. For Junaid Din and Josh Sarche, this is swapping either inside or outside for the 3rd row, and behind them to go to the 3rd or the 4th row for Christian Smith and De La Garza Elizondo. So we watch Barrios head to the front stretch. DeLeo, again, still well within earshot. I think he might have even closed up just a hair. No, he lost about 0.2 that lap to the race leader, Mario Barrios. Just very consistent out front. The rolling pace is also about a 0.2 delta. Best lap 0.2 better, rolling pace 0.2 better.
If we just kind of step back a bit and see what's happening, DeLeo was the dominant factor at Musselman Honda Circuit for the Winter Nationals. Barrios seems to be the guy to beat right now here at the Spring Nats at MCC. It's all going to come down to the head-to-head battle at the Summer Nats at Newcastle in July, as Barrios really has had things handled. Great pace all day yesterday and so far today, but you mentioned that DeLeo is stepping it up. Maybe that little bit more. Do we see a battle for a race win in the full-length final this afternoon? Barrios looks really good in the Auralus Performance Group machine, but DeLeo, no slouch. We'll see whether or not he finds a little bit more.
We got some updates as we bookend K Master along with the first pre-final pro shifter here, as the results have just been posted on the SKUSA WhatsApp channel. Mario Barrios shouldn't have to worry much about this one. The start looked good. The race was better. He'll dominate once again. Drag race to the line for fourth. Junaid hangs on over Josh Sarche by half a tenth. And John May will end up third behind DeLeo, closing the margin towards Mario Barrios as we roll the pre-final results here for K-Master. But we have a couple of updates here, Rob, with the Pro Shifter results. Mateus Morgado, incident responsibility with Kyle Wick, 5-second penalty has been added. And as we talked about, Jay Irwin by 15 thousandths is going to be above that 5-second delta. He'll move up. That will put Morgado down to 7th. Also, AJ Myers got multiple incident responsibilities. He got slapped with a 10-second penalty. And the number 15 machine got a penalty as well. That was Charles Gauthier. He DNF'd, so that's a non-factor. And honestly, AJ, a non-factor as well. I'm not sure if that is actually correct in terms of a clerical error or not, because Myers didn't even turn a single lap. So to get the 10-second penalty was slapped with, but DNFing on the opening lap, I don't know if that is correct. It very well could be for AJ Myers of what they sought. But
so no call on the contact with Formal on Morgado, and then no contact call with Kremers on Morgado as well. Interesting.
Correct, but penalty for the contact with Wick. We'll have a lot more updates of what that does to the points and the heat points and the main grid on the other side of the break.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. Long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Ready for action here as the K100 Juniors make their way onto the front stretch for their pre-final, presented by TKG Beer Art USA. Travis Pettit on the right, Colton Schneegenberg on the left, and here we go, underway from Cincinnati.
Love that camera angle there to see a wider shot coming through 1 and 2. 3 drivers together, 2 drivers together coming through turn number 1. Good jump there for Pettit. He will go to the lead early on. Schneegenberg slotting into the second position. Right behind them, Tristan Murphy up into third. So good start there. 3 more drivers together. That's out of turn or into turn number 4 and 5. Yeah, a number collected there as well. So a lot of action here on the opening circuit further back. Front drivers, though, getting out of that chaos and jumping away. Pettit quickly up on the wheel in the LN kart for BJR. He goes to the lead, followed by those 2 RPM drivers running in the second and third spots. Watching more drivers work their way through. That's Nicholas Orbezo making a move to the inside as well. Orbezo down to the bottom of turn number 12. He's trying to fight his way back forward. Orbezo started in the 9th position.
So as they come to put the first lap in the books here, Pettit leading the way to Schneegenberg, to Murphy, to Clayton Stiles, who is having a much better Sunday. Ruben Gutierrez looking good here in KA Junior, as there's a look on the inside of the number of drivers collected on the first lap. We lost potentially 4, if not 5. Hudson Hidalgo, Kai Park there you saw standing in the infield at turn 4. Lila Beck, Ava Malakova Haley Stone, Charlie Marone, all collected in incidents early in the going. Ashton Woon on the move there with a pass in the infield, and a driver that was on the move late in the going after being well up front in that Pro Shifter Pre-Final. Kyle Wick standing by with Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Yeah, Kyle, just another rough go at things, and I know you guys were watching the incident back with your video. Just kind of tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, Mateus didn't get very far in, and then he throttled up and didn't leave us anywhere to go.
Just kind of tell me about the main event later on today. Speed looked promising at the start of that superheat. Sorry.
The first couple of laps were really good, and then it kind of started fading. So obviously our tires are not the greatest after that 4 runs. Some people have different, few less laps, but we'll just go for it.
Thank you for the time, Kyle.
Thank you.
And you can hear it in Kyle's voice there, Rob. Very deflated, and understandably so.
Yeah, and again, the penalty coming down from race control, the 5-second penalty, as you mentioned, for Morgado. So they sided with Kyle as well on that one. A shame to see it happen. Would like to have seen some more clean racing. But indeed, Morgado, again, Morgado probably had enough of it. He'd been rooted a couple of times on the opening lap and decided he was going to make the move to the inside. When I look at it, I feel like it's kind of a touch and go either way. Kind of leaning towards the Racing Instant side because Morgado was pretty close. He was in quite a bit, although kind of rooted him out, got to the apex and kind of pushed out wide. So I can 100% see the position for Kyle Wick there as well. The bottom line is there's the penalty to Morgado, and it's a 22nd position finish for Wick that's going to change his lineup. He's going to have to be an absolute rock star coming from middle of the pack, try to get himself up to the podium here, and knowing that there's some fast guys out front with clear racetrack.
And as they roll through with a couple more laps in of K Junior Pre-Final action, we now have kind of definitive packs here. 4 cars up front. This group here, 5th on back. Gutierrez has the likes of Alex Chandler and Nico Orbezo, the Iron Rock teammates behind him. One of their teammates, Clayton Stiles, just up the road. And that 4-car pack's kind of completed with Valentino Santillan. As now Chandler goes by, Orbezo wants to follow, can't get there. Santillan, this is going to bottle them all up, and now Valentino's going to pay the price. Ashton Woon continues to pick up the pieces here. He is making some smart plays early in the going of this pre-final. Look behind him, Nico Katowski latched onto the back of this group, needs a big-time day here to get himself back going as there's yesterday's winner, Marco Samet on the move. Katowski with the fast lap of the race as well.
That was a tough one for Santillan over in turn number 14. Going to the inside, you have to do that because they're stacking up on the outside of you. But when you go to the inside, you lose so much of the exit speed, that mid-corner pace, and just no forward bite from the inside. You're down on the RPM, and he got chewed up big time. Tough one for him for sure. Then, of course, at that end, got hurt even a couple more corners later. When Samet's able to make that move over in turn number 2. So Santillan following back to the 9th position, making that 10th as Samet goes by. So he was up there and probably could have been potentially P6, but ends up going back to P10. That's what happens here when you get locked in to this particular corner. It's a tough corner if you're trying to go on the inside. We saw drivers Xander as well, thinking that they were making the over-under and lose that exit speed and get past on the front straightaway as well.
Yeah, you have to be so mindful of how big and how where the pack is behind you. If there's a pass going on behind you kind of simultaneously, you're okay to attempt that crossover on the front stretch. But if they're single file, again like this right here, but in a different section of the racetrack, you get caught on the outside coming out of turn 5 there for Colton Schniegenberg. He was lucky that he had both a teammate in Tristan Murphy that could cut him a break, but equally that he got a good launch himself. But if you're fighting that pass coming out of turn 4, you're on the inside in that corner, but you'll be on the outside for the next one if you don't get back into line. And there's a mistake for Murphy. Let's see if he has to pay the price. He will. Clayton Stiles wants that 3rd spot, and he didn't get it, but it did cost him time, and they're going to change the lead as well. Schniegenberg to the front. Pettit back on him in 13 and 14.
And Stiles got the pass done. Yes, Schniegenberg was holding them off, but outside the line, not able to hold it. They're coming back to turn number 13. So you'll find Schniegenberg and Stiles flipping things around there. Stiles now up into the 3rd spot. Chandler goes back to 4th. Schniegenberg still 2nd. Pardon me, it was Murphy that got shuffled back, not Schniegenberg. So Murphy goes back to P5, trying to defend down there in turn number 12. Big run for Chandler as well as he gets himself up there. Excellent work for Alex Chandler here. right in the middle of the fight, P4. Good stuff here midway through. 6 laps down, 4 to go in a 10-lap pre-final for KA100 Junior. And a number of drivers go back and forth. The action non-stop. This is not one of these races, Xander, where we're seeing 3-4 drivers run nose to tail from start to finish. This is a pretty aggressive elbows up racing from start to finish.
This is still cutthroat here through the top 10. You saw Woon and Orbezo going at it further back there. Equally Valentino Santi on Marco Samet. As Samet's teammate Pettit continues to lead the way. Schneegenberg's now got Alex Chandler pushing him along. Big gap has formed back from 3rd to 4th. And we're coming to 3 to go next time by. 4 laps remain at the moment here in KA Junior, working lap number 8. Based on timing of what we've got here, working the lap 8 with 3 to go on this 10-lapper. 7 in the books. Little gap back from Chandler to Stiles. Pettit, even a little bit of defense there. I feel that's a little early here, Rob, with the 3-car breakaway. That's going to bring a whole lot into the mess, and we haven't seen one of those big packs have an explosion in a while, and I hopefully will be able to say the same after this race, but I don't have high hopes about it. Rob, there's too many, too close.
Yeah, I was literally going to just say, hey, we've got a 3-driver breakaway right now. These guys are working together, right? As I had said a couple laps ago, it's been more cutthroat. Like I said, it's a more kind of a battle all the way through. But yeah, all of a sudden, that 3-driver breakaway that could have happened stopped over in turn number 7. You can see right now, Travis Pettit is going on the defense here now as he pitches down to the inside.
And there they go, coming out of turn number 2. Pettit side by side with Schneegenberg and Chandler in the run out of 2 and 3. Yellow's waving further back. Something happened right around the early teens, maybe even higher up than that took out a couple of contenders. It looks like the back of our field's gotten lighter, and that is going to be Cameron Johnson involved as one of them. The 832 involved. The 824 involved.
Robert Lash, the 832.
Cruz Rodriguez in the 824. Yeah. So all right in the early teens. Back up front, Pettit to Schneegenberg.
Oh, here it is here. Here's the replay.
Good look at it. Oh, Ashton Woon got a helping, and Murphy as well. So, yeah, it was the back of the lead group. And then it was a splash zone for 3 more. I don't know if someone drug some water onto the racetrack or something. There is the flag. It is raining. That is what it is. The weather has arrived. 1 to go in the KA Junior Pre-Final. And it is time to tiptoe into the hairpin here as they all try to avoid going off the racetrack in turn number 2. Wild stuff here. Travis Pettit leads Schneegenberg over to turn number 4.
All right, here we go. Interesting times. Pettit still leads the way here now. Now, is that for rain or was it for the conditions over in turn number 2 potentially with water? Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's actually raining right now. I think the condition flag just potentially for what we were seeing over in turn number 2. So we're still clean and green. This is huge for Nicolas Orbezo. That battle we saw happening when Pettit started going on the defense. Orbezo was back there in 4th spot. When they started going defense, the next group rolled up. And Orbezo's been able to eat his way through from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. Right there. So Orbezo, big move forward for him. It's going to be +7 for Orbezo as they work their way back to the line. Travis Pettit's going to see the checker. Does Orbezo have a run to the line? He does not. Not even going to move to the outside. Travis Pettit's going to take the win. +7 for Nico Orbezo from 9th up to P2. Colton Schneegenberg in the 3rd spot. Alex Chandler in 4th. Clayton Stiles 5th. Nico Katowski 6th. Ashton Woon 7th. Santian and Samet 8th and 9th. Tristan Murphy all the way back to 10th.
Well, it was still a heck of a save for Tristan Murphy. That could have gone a lot worse with the replay angle we saw there of him going wide, Woon wide. And then because of that, a number of drivers further back able to make some big-time plays. How about Nathan Golseth? 20 spots up the board from 35th on the grid to P15. I don't know what happened exactly for Nathan's qualifying efforts that had him lined up all the way at the rear, but that's a good recovery drive for the SKUSA Winter Series KA Junior Champion. And here's a look at the rest of the field. Cameron Johnson involved in that moment there. Cruz Rodriguez, Robert Lash, all down at the end of the top 30. They were able to finish. There were a number that did not. But a full 100 points haul there for Travis Pettit. Good stuff here for the 802's championship hopes as he tries to keep himself as the odds-on favorite in both of the divisions here, KA Junior and X30 Junior. Yesterday was the great day in X30. today looking like it might be a great day here in KA Junior for Hurricane Trav. Another look at the water onto the circuit here, and again, got drug on, must have been earlier on. Someone must have gone off at turn 1 and drug a lot of water and dirt and mud into the entrance to 2. And then you saw there the access road now coated from all of the overnight rain. So no rain yet here. Again, that was apologies there for the miscommunication, but the track conditions down into 2, throwing one last wrench at these young drivers in KA Junior. Travis Pettit, Colton Schneegenberg, and Nico Orbeza able to handle it pretty well.
Another shot of the replay here.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. We've got one. This is, so we're trying to see. Oh, look at that. That is the 834 of Nolan Carney, I believe, in the Hopes driver development entry. And you can see all the water and the splash on the left side from when he re-entered. And that just coated across the entire entry to the corner. And then boom, especially on the outside going in.
Woon barely able to hold on to it over there as well. Murphy went all the way off. So all that water out there, drivers 2x2 coming through. And yeah, tough one for those coming through late after that driver went off and brought that water back onto the racetrack.
That's why you can never turn away here, and kudos to Grace down at our camera 2 station at turn number 2 for catching all of that, and our production team in the bus here bringing you the full story. Let's go down to pit lane here. Caleb Vieska, what do you have on the ground?
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually right here at turn number 2. There's a big puddle that is still right here just on the edge of the racetrack, just outside of the rim of the track. And again, significant puddle, which doesn't surprise me at all that all this water in this corner, is very, very damp right here specifically. So this corner is going to change a whole lot for this upcoming race.
Well, we'll see what the outlap brings us, or lack thereof, really, because by the time they enter the racetrack, they're past that point, so they'll be flying blind. Hopefully that's being communicated to the drivers on the grid right now here for Micro Swift. We'll take a quick break while the officials get ready to bring it back under on-track action here from Cincinnati. You're watching KC's coverage of the SKUSA Spring Nationals.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions. All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day. Drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macromotorsports.net.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
We talked to Gavin Bailiff earlier in the day about how his dad was out blowing the track at 5 o'clock this morning. Well, with that water that came onto the track over in turn number 2, Sean Bailiff back up on the blower to try to get things cleared off here once again. We saw the incident there. One driver coming off the outside of turn number 2 got into the grass, which of course is saturated with the rain from the overnight. Spinning back on the racetrack, splashing a lot of that water right on into the racing line. And that, of course, collected a number of drivers coming through. But Sean, very meticulous about not only his race team, but also the track and the facility itself as well. Out there trying to see if they can't get this thing cleaned up enough that we're not going to have to worry coming through when we get rolling here. Next driver is set to roll out onto the track for their pre-final. Micro Swift, so let's make sure the youngest drivers of Superkarts USA have a nice clean racetrack.
I think Sean was just looking for an excuse to get on that ride mower.
That looks like fun.
I don't think he has more fun on the property than keeping everything nice. I think there's a satisfying part of riding around that thing. On Thursday practice day, that's if he's not on the Kart pickup vehicle, he's going out on that every single time he can. And if it's not the blower, it's keeping the lawn nice and perfectly trimmed here.
When I first got here as well on Thursday, he was up essentially handling practice as well. He was on the computer taking care of all the yellow flags, the light system that they have here, the marshalling system. So, yeah, very impressive. He loves this track, loves to be a part of the sport. And, again, one of the best guys in the sport, no doubt, Sean Bailiff.
Very Tony Stewart-esque.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You can obviously see their race director and, of course, director of on-track ops and Neil Strickland as well, keeping an eye on it, wanting to make sure they get it to a safe enough point because, again, sure, we can send the drivers for an extra pace lap, but they're probably not going to go out there and get that spot dried nearly as quickly or even willingly go that way. So while they clear things up, gives us an excuse here to give you guys a bit of an update. We were talking about what things could look like with the points for Pro Shifter before the penalties came in. Now, everything, of course, is always subject to change, but with that adjusted penalty for Mateus Morgado, it all of a sudden brings the championship really close. 12.5 points back would be Danny Formal following that pre-final. Martin Kermer's only 31 out of the lead. Former champs 1, 2, 3, 4. And Jay Irwin looking for his first after leading the points into this week and leading the points into the Summer Nats last year. 5th now off that phenomenal drive up the board. And Kyle Witt gets some new life there back in P6, 104 out of the lead. Massimo Valiente, Josh Conker, and Jacob Gulick and Adrian Renanen sadly will slip out of our view and outside the Circle of Champions top 10 later on. But the other important note, and again, this is 100% unofficial, so take everything that we have with a grain of salt, but I've double-checked, triple-checked, checked again, checked one more time on my math. From what I can surmise, this is what I believe the main event grid could look like for Pro Shifter with the adjusted results. Of course, Morgado, with that finish, would have and should have put himself onto the pole. However, with that 5-second penalty, dropping him all the way down to 7th, and Formal moving up to 2nd on that pre-final on track, starting from the 3rd spot. He would then move to the pole position alongside Marin Kremers, and Kremers would go off a tiebreaker against Billy Musgrave for the outside front row spot. Morgado would go back to row number 2. Jacob Gulick on the inside of row 3 alongside last year's winner Josh Conker, who has had a solid weekend every session pretty much. She's finished in the top 10 minus qualifying. Had to start back in the high teens after failing to make the transfer to Super Pole. Massimo Valiente's also stayed in the top 10 in the conversation all weekend. Gavin Bailiff's had his best weekend performance to date. This could be his best starting spot if this is, again, I want to make sure I clarify it, unofficial at Lachlan Tompelson. And Justin White also having just a quiet march up the leaderboard as well.
And remember Josh Conker, how it all started for him as well with losing that GoPro that he then lost his fast lap in qualifying too. So he has been quietly putting himself in a shot to potentially run to a top 5, maybe even a podium,
Yeah, that pushed him even further back because, he was only 1 or 2 spots out of the transfer zone in quali, and then losing the fast lap put him even further down. Here's Micro Swift's pre-final here, the starting lineup flickering across for you all as we get ready to go green with them. Tristan Francisco on the inside of the front row, Liam Compitiello joining him on that front row. Shep Sullivan starting from 3rd. This will be a great starting spot for Shep in the Vassar Sullivan livery Bennick, with a fellow Bennick to the outside there and Bo Wyatt. And as they bring them around nice and slow here to turns 12, 13, and 14, we will continue to roll through the day's action here in pre-finals. This will push us a couple minutes back with the track drawing procedure that was just completed. So that'll put the next couple of sessions in a rack 'em up, run 'em as quick as the track is clear formation, which is pretty much all of our pre-finals. We'll run through every single one from Micro Swift on here through into KA100 Senior with X30 Junior to follow, then Mini Swift, and then a Pro X30 before we take a break right around 12:30 p.m. local time. At the moment, 11:26 a.m. And in the next hour, this race kicks it off. Micro Swift's pre-final is green.
A couple drivers into the grass on the inside of turn number 1, spinning around there. You see 3, 4, maybe 5 of them slowed up. They're otherwise clean and green through turns number 2, 3. Back down to turn number 4. Francisco will take the lead. Good start for Sullivan as well. Shep Sullivan up into the 2nd position, coming out of turn number 5 and 6. Single file 1 and 2. A little bit look further back. Bo Wyatt trying to find a way by, diving down to the inside. He'll get by Capatiello into turn number 7 as well. So the initial battling here, we were able to get spots early on, settling in. Good start there for the 251 of Bo Wyatt, yesterday's winner, up into P3.
And as they roll out of turn number 11 here for the first time, Jack Katowski will be the one to look for a move. It won't be there on Compatiello for 4th, but a good try at it here as Francisco takes us through the back hairpins. A pass a little further back in the top 10. And there's Kip Knaus there at the beginning of the next group with the 232 of, I believe, Garza Andres Marcelo Pena right behind him. Across the line, 1 lap in the books here, 7 to go.
We'll have a look at the drivers who had the issues on the opening lap. Those drivers spun further back, a number of them coming across the line. Cohen Scott, Enzo Vizquiano, Trey Sanders, one of the drivers involved early as well. Xander, that's big for Trey Sanders. 2nd place yesterday. He is down into 25th position. Last driver almost across the line. So wow, recovery for Trey Sanders essentially over the next 7 laps to try to get himself back forward. Again, one driver looping. We talked about that, getting to the inside of turn number 1 on the start, caught into the grass. And with that overnight rain, the grass absolutely treacherous right now. You do not want to get anywhere near there. Up front, though, these drivers avoided all the issues. Bo Wyatt able to get by Sullivan, so Bo Wyatt now up into the 2nd spot. Tristan Francisco, though, still the leader up front.
They got a little bit of a gap there as Wyatt didn't get the best exit out of turn 14. Coming down the front straightaway now and headed down to turn number 1. 2 complete, 6 to go. Down to you, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you very much there, Xander. I'm standing by here with Sean Bailiff. Sean, you've been taking out the Hurricane 3000, I think it's called, out on track, clearing out some of the puddles. Talk to Gavin. You were out here. He said it was 5 o'clock in the morning. You're saying it's 6:30. I'm just trying to get the truth here.
I was out of bed at 4:30, but no, it wasn't quite that early. I don't want to upset my neighbor, but yeah, we take pride in making sure the track conditions are right, the marbles are off, and obviously it helps the track get drier quicker if we get the big puddles off. So I always take that into consideration. Every morning I go out, and at lunch I typically go out, make sure all the barriers are good, and there's no safety issues, and the track conditions are clean. So it's really important to me. We try and run this like any other, big sports car track or anything like that. So take big pride in making sure the track's safe and in the best condition for these racers.
What do you thought of the weekend of racing so far here in your backyard?
It's fantastic. We're really hoping this becomes the premier event in the country here. So trying to do a lot promotion side, and the gas prices and stuff have kind of held the entries back a little bit, but it's been fantastic racing. This last corner out of 14 and the 15-16 produces some of the best racing in the country here. So everyone says this is a tough place to pass, but I kind of beg to differ on that.
Well, thanks for having us, Sean.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Kart Chaser does some wonderful things for the sport here in the U.S.
Thank you, Sean. We appreciate that. Back to you guys.
Well, listen, I'll comment on the passing. This is the first time I've ever been here, and we've seen passes in turn 2, in 4, in 7, in 11, in 12, in 13, maybe even 14, then the drag race down the line into turn number 1. There's a lot of places to pass here. It may be a little tougher to get the job done, but that's what the good drivers do. There's lots of overtaking opportunities here at MCC.
We're about to see some more put on full display as we get to the halfway point here with this 3-car pack. Here's one of them. Turn 1, down the front stretch with help. Francisco and Katowski both will get by Bo Wyatt at the end of the main straight. And Shep Sullivan stays close there a little further back as they roll through turn number 2.
Yeah, no help by Francisco for Bo Wyatt there, no doubt about it, as he and Katowski lining up to stream on by. Nitro, Bennick, Birrell, Bennick again. Number of different chassis up front here, but again, Francisco goes back to the lead. Yesterday's action, Francisco finished further up, but ends up with a 5th place finish with a 6-second jump start penalty. Bo Wyatt, Trey Sanders, and Jack Katowski 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the order yesterday. Let's have a quick look down. Trey Sanders back up into the 23rd position, and he's significantly quicker than those in front of him, but he's again 13 seconds back from the leaders after issues on the opening lap. So Trey Sanders on the podium yesterday, but work to be done here still in the last couple laps of this pre-final, Xander, to see if he can't get himself back forward.
Well, he's got the leaders continuing to fight. I don't know if I can say the same about the midfield. Bo Wyatt back to the front here, and now covering the low side into turn number 2. Katowski hasn't quite yet really made any bid for the lead. He has just kind of been the guy pushing one of the two of them up and into second, or up and into the lead, and following suit to second. So he has been quietly waiting, it feels like, this entire run. And now as they go to the infield, Shep Sullivan gets further into view while fellow Bennick driver Bo Wyatt covers off on the inside.
Sullivan very happy to see these guys racing. 4-driver battle potentially up front here. You go another 1.6 seconds back to Compatiello. So 4-driver breakaway, and now Sullivan, who closes, gets a good opportunity to have a look at what they're doing in front. These drivers here, the 3, Wyatt, Francisco, and Katowski, have been going back and forth. 2 of the 3 having led already. Sullivan now arrives on the scene. What kind of damage can he do? Working his way up in here with a couple laps left. They'll come across the line to put lap number 6 in the books. So 2 to go this time by. Sullivan's going to try to roll right on through, and he does. He'll go to P3 as Katowski getting moved back. A lot of action up front here. Next up would be Dusty Strayer, but he's still 2.5 seconds back. But Xander, the way they keep racing here over the last couple laps, Strayer and Compatiello make it another shot at it before it's all said and done.
Yeah, don't underestimate how quickly you can lose time when you're defending on this racetrack or battling amongst others. I will say, though, they've spread out a little bit, and time it. Oh, one off. Is that Dukalescu? One of the GFC machines, the 244.
I think you're right, yeah, Dukalescu.
Dan Dukalescu, heartbreaking there. was on a decent run in 11th and nose first into the wall over at turn 4. Pass for third. Katowski to the inside to get one spot back further forward ahead of Sullivan. And like you said, Dusty Strayer, Liam Capatiello, they continue to kind of march their way closer. Dusty Strayer up 12 spots and counting. Can he get two more, one more before the line? You can see they're a good straightaway back here at the beginning of this white flag lap. Final time around. Francisco seems to be kind of conceding the lead a bit here as he's covering off for second.
And Wyatt's head's on a swivel right now. Left, right, left, right. Most coaches will tell you to look forward and stop looking back. He has been looking all over the place, trying to find out where the competition is. He's trying to dial things in, and indeed, Francisco's trying to ask for some help for Katowski. But listen, it's hard to ask for help when you're defending in every corner. Yeah, Katowski's the one that's waving his hand. Listen, don't worry about me if you're going to cover off the inside and run defense on every corner here. Oh, big slide. That's not going to work. Francisco tried to come across on Shep Sullivan as well. Trouble through turn number 11 for Francisco. He'll throw it down the bottom on Shep Sullivan as well. Does he get the spot done? He does. He'll go back to the inside of 13, but yeah, a little bit of mid-corner oversteer for Francisco coming through 11. Katowski takes full advantage of it. The victory is going to go to Bo Wyatt, uncontested. Here comes the run to the line. All these guys looking over. Katowski is going to hold off Francisco at the line. Sullivan ends up in 4th. Strayer 5th. 6th is Compatiello. Kip Knaus, Dalton, Monroy, and Bishop rounding out the top 10. Another head in the swivel for Katowski as they came to the line.
Yeah, Jack Katowski trying to make sure that he gets all the points he can, and he gets a couple more. That's a 10-point boost there for the pre-final, going from 3rd up to 2nd at the very end. But Bo Wyatt able to score the win and the 100 points in total towards his championship battle. We were talking about how close things were in micros, that they were 1 point apart in the pre-drops, how close they were with the drops. That is just going to continue to be an ongoing storyline for this class the more that we take a look at it here when it comes to these youngsters. And again, all of them being that close, a blanket over the entire top 4 for that what felt like that entire race. And the pre-drop standings now get to be 19 apart here for Bo Wyatt and Tristan Francisco. But there's still 200 points up for grabs later on today.
Wyatt won yesterday, pre-final win today. Does he come out with another one? There you have a look at the pre-drop standings in the Micro Swift category. Bo Wyatt on top for Team Bennick, 19 points up on Tristan Francisco. Trey Sanders, where did Trey end up in that race? Like I said, he got way back, ended up getting up to 18th position. So it'll be an outside row 9 start for Trey Sanders, who had an issue on the opening lap of the pre-final. He's got some work to be done as well. Does not want this to be the drop race. Wants to get himself back up in there. Only 61 points behind Bo Wyatt in the pre-drop point standings.
All good, though, for Team Bennick. Bo Wyatt, the number 251, reigning supreme here in this Micro Swift pre-final as they begin to roll through the scales. We'll take a break, folks. On the other side of the break, K100 Senior, full house when we return.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel?
From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Karts onto the racetrack for KA100 Senior as we get set to roll for their pre-final. Paulie Massimino has swept the pole award in every single session on this season. And as we get set for an overcast skies set of conditions for these drivers to tackle after a qualifying session that was right around the breakover point from the kind of damp conditions online to a pretty dry online. And now, taking a look at the radars, it continues to update some very, very light rain wave cells and some pop-up showers to the west, or to the west and kind of northwest of Cincinnati. Obviously, you can see we're about a good chunk of ways east, and it's really just the southwest area that would be coming up our way by the way things look. So we seem to be clear, but again, with the high humidity that we've experienced over the course of the couple of days, anything can happen. We know anything can always happen in KA Senior, whatever the weather may be. With Paulie Massimino on the right and a freshly turned 18-year-old happy belated birthday Caleb Gaffera on the left from Friday to Sundays on the front row. Here we go for the next pre-final of the day. Spring Nats round 4 for KA Senior is racing.
Caleb Gaffera with his eye firmly planted on the right foot of Paulie Massimino, trying to figure out when he punches off, and does a good job from the outside of the front row to slot himself into P2. Great start for Massimino, and they're underway. Top 5-6 drivers. Xander getting line astern, the rest back. We got the bunch of two-wide action. Everybody trying to take a full advantage of the action here on the opening circuit.
You can see off to the side there, one driver into the wall. We'll certainly have some looks at what happened. For the most part, though, the leaders are clearing away, headed over. Oh, we got four of them together down here in the infield. We'll take a look at that later. Here now, Paulie Massimino, Caleb Gaffera to Chase Hand, Colin Lloyd, headed through turn number 12, and rolling single file. No changes between any of them here in the top few. It's only going back to Ruben Moya to see a pass that was on rookie Jackson Gibson there.
Opening circuit settling in. We'll tell you about the 5 drivers who have had issues. We'll try to give you those names. Great two-driver breakaway right now with Massimino and Gaffera trying to stretch away. We'll see if Caleb works with Paulie here. Both those drivers out of that Charlotte, North Carolina area. A lot of running at Trackhouse. We'll see whether or not they can work together and pull away. Down the field, Jose Helfand involved, Isaac Gardner, Michael Maker, Max Klein, Nick Mercer, we believe there as well. Marcus Batchun, I think, involved as well. If those drivers able to continue so far. The only driver we haven't seen coming back is Isaac Gardner. Not sure whether or not he was involved or did not start, but nonetheless, that's the update of the drivers who had issues on the opening circuit.
Good start here. Decent start at that here for Diego Ramos off the back of yesterday's win, holding station from his original spot in 8th. Behind him, Eli Warren going forward again, making the move on Matt Cagle. That was for 9th. And then a little gap back to Caden McQueen in 11th. Still not yet seeming like he's, based on qualifying, of course, got the speed to fight for the race win and to keep himself in the championship. Let's see what this pre-final happened as it unfolds, really, for the Velocity Racing Sodi driver. Has the speed that he's been hunting for all weekend started to materialize, or is Paulie Massimino, among others, going to be able to leapfrog him further away in the points? Here's a look at the current conditions. 111 degrees for the track temp, 30 degrees higher, already up to the low 80s here in Batavia, Ohio. And again, the humidity remains above 60%. But the one part of the graphic here that this doesn't really tell you, as we see Gaffera now going to the lead over Paulie Massimino, is the wind speed. And I believe Caleb Vieska might be able to give us a bit of an update because things seem to be changing down on pit lane. Caleb, do you have us down there? And what are things like here now with a couple more races and the sun starting to hide behind the clouds?
Yeah, thank you very much, Xander. Again, the track temperature here is currently at 110 degrees, so it's a lot cooler than what it was yesterday. But as you can see above me, the skies are definitely darkening. There's a lot of cool winds kind of blowing through. I would say they're just under 10 mile an hour. Nothing too strong just yet, but you can obviously tell out here that it is getting a lot cooler than what it was yesterday.
And feeling cooler, for sure, feeling a lot cooler than the sun baking everybody here. It was hot yesterday afternoon,
well,
Rob.
135 degree track temperature, so we're well down in the track temp. I'm sure a little bit of a respite for everybody after a couple of really, really warm days. Caleb Gaffera getting eaten up here by a number of drivers as he led for a time but has now worked his way back. His teammate Eli Warren gets by there as well. So Gaffera, who went for the lead, now all the way back, I believe, into very likely the 7th or 8th position. He'll have to work his way back forward, and that's how quickly things can change on this racetrack. When you get hung out to dry on the outside, a lot of drivers. We talked about that freight train down into turn number 12.
Chase Hand now locking onto the bumper of Paulie Massimino. Yesterday he led a lot of laps in the main, and he was up there in the pre-final before eventually Paulie and Diego were able to break away. Today, trying to take some of the lessons from yesterday, having all of that experience, all those laps spent up front with those two perennial contenders. What has Chase Hand been able to add on to his tool bank and take into Sunday to fight for the race win? Look at the threatening skies here. This is a live shot, folks, here from the tech area of what is above us right now. Granted, again, we've seen really only pop-up showers, and those aren't even remotely close to us, but something that could be so small the radar wouldn't even catch it might just douse us for a little bit here. Who knows what we've got in store. Right now we're dry. We're racing hard here with dry-ish conditions. And at the moment, as they roll down the dog leg, we're getting more and more reports that maybe that is changing. We'll wait to see really for Aaron Likens to throw the conditions flag to confirm it this time. For now, 2 karts away out in front. And as they go down to turn number 2, Caleb Viesca, do you have an update for us now?
Yeah, this is a quick one. The rain is definitely just started. You can see on the ground there's spots starting to form here, but I'm over by turn number 1 in the tech area, and yeah, the winds are starting to pick up, and I was just on 5 minutes ago. It's a completely different story right now.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. We are starting to get some rain here. Caleb Gaffera duking it out with Jackson Gibson. Hasn't seemed to affect the times or the drivers too much. They all hit their best lap last time, Rob, but that won't stick if it continues.
Yeah, obviously, 110-degree track temperature, that initial rain, and with the temperature we have here trackside, will dissipate pretty quickly and evaporate quickly as well. So with the drivers staying on the racetrack, hammering down, we should be okay. But as Caleb said, if this rain that has arrived is consistent, then we could potentially have some issues. Right now, we're working lap number 5, crossed halfway flags this time by. So we'll see how things play out. It's always that opportunity to transition between categories. These drivers on the racetrack, they're keeping that track dry. They're keeping the heat into the racing surface. But if it sits for 5 minutes between sessions, that's going to make potentially some changes. Now, again, the weather we didn't think was going to get here till about 5 o'clock. Earlier it was 1 o'clock, then it was 4 o'clock. It appears that we've got those clouds coming in here, Xander. This could change the complexion of the day massively.
4 laps to go here in this K100 Senior Pre-Final. You can see the winds on the trees above. We've been talking all about conditions. We haven't really talked about the driver that to me right now is the superstar of this session. As you can see, the rain tire dance and the sprint to the grid is continuing for the class coming up, which of course is the X30 Juniors and then the Mini Swifts. And that is Ruben Moya, though, as the superstar. Ruben Moya is up 7 spots. He's already got the pole coming up in Pro X30. He knows he needs to perform in K Senior, having missed out on round 1 of action. He's about to get a big gap here as Warren and Lloyd go at it. Ramos, yesterday's winner, trapped behind him. But Ruben Moya trying to join Chase Hand and Paulie Massimino up front as we take a look at more of the chaos going on. This is all, again, to prep for that X30 Junior session because it will roll on time, I'd assume, if not happened already. And I'm going to check right now on the SKUSA official WhatsApp if they have declared that it would be driver's option, because I would assume that they would as soon as they thought there might even be a chance they would have to go to it. Or they might have honestly done it, Rob, thinking back at the very beginning of the day with the warm-up sessions. And once they do that, they'll run everything right on time.
Yeah, if they start with driver's choice for the day, obviously that gives them the opportunity to go reigns. I don't know. Again, I don't know if we get right onto the racetrack with the drivers in the next category. I don't know that the track's going to be damp enough once we get back out. Again, it's all Caleb's been the one. You and I are locked away in the commentary box here, so not really attuned to what kind of weather, what kind of strength of rain we're getting right now, whether it's a sprinkle or if it's actually starting to be more consistent. Otherwise, the drivers looking good up front right now. Massimino in hand, P1 and P2. We're going to see white flag this next time by, so indeed, lots happening here trackside.
As they roll now with a lap and a half to go, coming out of turn number 7. And correction from Neil Strickland directly. This is my mistake, folks. I apologize. It's not a declaration here. They run on time regardless. It's on you to have everything ready and to have the karts on the ground. So my mistake on that part. I knew that for the most part they have kept things a very neat and tidy schedule. So that is the answer here, folks. It is essentially at that point driver's option all day long when you have this kind of condition. There won't be a delay unless they find it where it is absolutely necessary and unsafe to go to the slick tires. With a white flag out, we're still on slicks. We're still tracking good times for the moment. Massimino versus Hand versus Moya.
Yeah, Moya getting what he needed to get back in the hunt. He was 0.7 of a second back, but a quick defensive run to turn number 2 for Paulie Massimino has brought Ruben Moya back into the fight. Not what Chase Hand wanted. He was ready to line up for a potential run for the race win. Now he's got to split the focus both on Massimino and behind him on Moya. It's also bringing Eli Warren back up in the Hoach driver development machine. Watch him get in here. It's going to be a 4-driver scrap by the time they get down to turn number 12. Big move to the inside for Moya and trouble for Hand. He goes off to the right side in the dirt.
Haven't seen a lot of drivers in the outside in that corner, and there you see it, the difference from yesterday. That might have been okay. He might have got away with it today. Straight off the circuit from the second lane. Final time through the hairpins. Jockeying for position in the top 10. Up front, this will be close. Ruben Moya, does he have enough to make a run at Massimino? Will he get help from Eli Warren? To the line. It'll be close, but it'll be Paulie Massimino to Ruben Moya.
And Chase Hand by less than 0.02 of a second holding off Ramos. He got held up. As we know, Hand had the issue over in turn number 11. Big, dirty right side tires able to hold on through the right-hand 12, the right-hand 13. Did get out of 14. But Ramos had a big group behind him with Gaffera, Overbeck, Lloyd, and Cagle, all hoping to make that run to the line. Not quite enough for Ramos, less than 0.02 of a second.
So there's a look at the results here, folks. Paulie Massimino, Ruben Moya, Eli Warren, Chase Hand, Diego Ramos, the top 5 provisionally here. And in terms of big movers, I mean, Caden McQueen picked up 4, Moya picked up 8. The big mover was only Spencer Smith back in 15th. He picked up 9. There was not necessarily anyone on a crazy charge through the field. And we covered, I think, really the brunt of the activity for a lot of that race, even with so much going on off track, including what's going on right now. Caleb, catch us up, because for the last 2 laps, things have been crazy on track, but I can only imagine what it's like on pit lane.
Yeah, it's been chaos, and you know, when anybody hears there's a percentage of rain, you see a lot of this, right? A lot of rain tires being kind of put on the kart stands, just making sure that they're ready for whatever possible situation. This is a situation where they hold all the kart stands. The situation on the grid is that everybody's on slick tires. The reason being, the cloud that we were showing you guys a little bit earlier has now fully passed the racetrack, and there is 0% chance of rain until 4 p.m. later on today, where there's a slight chance that we will have some rain. So the sun starting to come out, starting to shine here a little bit, and it looks like, I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like we might have the rest of the day under dry conditions. Back to you guys.
If he ruins this, if he jinxed this.
Oh, he 100% jinxed it right there. Listen, my brother, the meteorologist and our replay producer, says, Caleb, you're wrong, and I'm gonna bank on the Georgia Tech degree that we got. That's gonna say that we might get something before 4 p.m. Obviously, we just got just a very light dose. It was enough for everybody besides Caleb to worry.
Yep.
He's got nothing to worry about. He's been playing ping pong and soccer all day long, so I'm sure he's not paying that close attention. But no, I mean, you look at it. To his credit, as quickly as that very, very small dark cloud, I mean, that was really the size of the property was above us. It's already gone, and the sun is back shining again through the clouds. But the variable here is just the fact of the cold front, hot front, and on top of that, the humidity. The amount of water literally in the air. It will not take a lot for a pop-up shower to all of a sudden douse us and then throw the whole day into a wild batch of scenarios.
Well, it fired everybody up in the paddock. We know that. There were guys running through, grabbing those reins, bringing them back up to the kart stands, although as Caleb did give us the report from pit lane, everybody on the dry tires, as we will be through at least hopefully for the next couple hours. Potential for that rain coming at 4 o'clock. We'll see who has the right forecast. We had a good look at the the radar as well. Grayson Walcott there with a fantastic qualifying run. Yeah, but getting set to roll. We've got 3 more races on the docket before we head into the lunch break and then fire things up with main events. X30 Junior, Mini Swift, and Pro X30. Xander still to come.
Indeed. Just a handful more classes up here before a short break in the on-track activity. X30 Junior was slated to go only about 9 minutes ago, so even with that little bit of delay that we had for the track cleanup and inevitably a number of incidents, of course, in terms of the overall day, having some very, very action-packed sessions, we're still just about where we need to be in terms of the timetable. And so when we look at it in full, X30 Junior was slated at 11:45. They'll probably go green here in just a couple of moments and push them to 11:55 as the green, and then we'll probably eat up that extra 9 to 10 minute delta during the lunch break. So with that in mind, with the grid here in front of you guys about to roll off, here's a look in the full outline with our estimated timestamps of what's coming your way next up here, both in the sessions right before and right after the lunch break that we have on today. X30 Junior, as of right now here, rolling off here, 11:55, 11:56. And then basically right after them will be Mini Swift and into Pro X30. It'll probably have our break in the action going right around 12:40, 12:45 p.m. And then Pro Shifter's main event will still go on right at 1:25. So I'll do a small adjustment on that right there to show you there. But nonetheless, 1:25 for Pro Shifter. We'll go green with them. Pre-race coverage will kick off probably a couple minutes prior to that. Nonetheless, Pro Shifter kicks off the afternoon sessions. Straight on in to K Master, K Junior, and Micro Swift. So that puts us, again, with just 3 more classes before grids are fully set for all of the main events, including the Gearbox boys and girls for the afternoon rotation. X30 Junior yesterday saw Travis Pettit be able to fend off the cavalry for the brunt of the main and then eventually be able to kind of cruise to the finish, Rob. But today he's buried a little bit further back in the pack, back on row number 3. His K Junior Sunday has looked much better, kind of an invert of the script of what he had yesterday, where K Junior was a little bit rougher of a go. Still a good day, just not an amazing day. And his X30 Junior was obviously fantastic, ending on the top step. So here we go for the X30 Junior Pre-Final with Maxwell Macha. And in an inverse as well, Marco Samet from winning in K Junior to the front row of X30 Junior in the pre-final. Here we go, an early punch-off, but we're underway.
Interesting run through the inside of turn number 1. Good job for the drivers up front. Look at these guys, elbows up through turn number 3. Good start for Macha. He'll work his way into position. Marco Samet strong from the outside of the front row as well. Nice run there for Grayson Walcott, slotting into 3rd. That's job done for him as well. Get down into P3, through 6, into 7. He'll cover to the bottom of the racetrack. Right behind him, Ashton Woon in the 7:03 as well. So underway, opening lap here for the drivers in X30 Junior.
So far, so good. All of them making it. There was a little bit of argy-bargy for sure in the first 2 turns. Now we're going to see them fan out down the run into 12. Ashton Woon covering, missed the bottom there. It is still a slippery surface, and he's going to lose 1-2 spots as championship contender Travis Pettit gets by.
Yeah, covered the inside of the racetrack, but once he turned it down to the apex, the initial apex of 12, it just drifted a full cart width up the racetrack, and that allowed Ruben Gutierrez to slide to the inside. So leaders out front as we have a new leader, and that is Marco Samet. He goes to P1, locks her up a little bit going into turn number 2. But he's taking to the lead and goes straight to the defense, trying to block down on Maxwell Macha. So stack everybody else back up. A little bit of a breakaway they had is long gone now. He still covers to the bottom again. So early low lining for Marco Samet, yesterday's winner in the KA100 junior category. Kind of early, you think there? Nope, that opens the door, and here comes Macha.
I don't think early at all, because I think he was trying to get away from this. Unfortunately, Marco Samet's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. If Woon can get there, and it might be more than that as he gets a little bit of help. He and Ferguson sliding into the marbles now. They'll lose a number more. William Vitor will get all the way by him from Marco Samet in 1 lap, going all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. Maxwell Macha back at the point. Samet still under fire. Mateo Calderon wants it. Can't get it. contact ahead of him as well. Woon into the back a little bit there of Pettit. No harm, no foul though.
How about 1st to 8th for Marco Samet? Opened the door down in turn number 11. In came Macha, and also did the rest of the Lions. The freight train coming through, tried to get himself back in. You really can't do that till you come on the outside of turn number 13 into 14. Woon up on the wheel, gets all on the curbing coming through there. Woon by Pettit to go into P4. Pettit right behind him still. Up front, though, it's a couple of the RPG Cosmics right now flanking Maxwell Macha. Gutierrez goes to the lead. Right behind Macha is the 744 Grayson Walcott. Do they pull away? I don't think so. Too much racing here early on. Everybody making moves. There's Pettit back down to the inside. As he gets to the inside, I believe a William Vitor who had worked his way up. So Vitor was up to 5th, but he'll go back a couple of spots.
All 3 drivers in the top 3 right now, Rob, would be hunting for their first career SKUSA Pro Tour X30 Junior win or junior win in the Pro Tour period. Maxwell Macha, Mini Swift champion at the Supernats. Grayson Walcott would be a first, I believe, podium overall. And, of course, Ruben Gutierrez, great day yesterday. Could he capitalize on that with the lessons learned to take it to the top step today? He's already pulling a gap sizably back to Macha. But Ashton Woon in the 703 trying to take that one plate here in his 2nd junior season. All that experience from last year, getting the win back at the Summer Nats. He'll go to 3rd with that move on Walcott and bring the cavalry looking. But DeGennaro couldn't get there, and he's going to end up losing 2. Salmon and Pettit.
Hey, this is another pass or be pass situation. Xander and I talked a lot about that yesterday, where really this is just so cutthroat, where you're always trying to make a move on the driver in front of you. Don't. Somebody behind you is going to do it. You open up the corner to try to run that full-on racing line. Someone's going to fill that gap very quickly. And right now, this is working great for Ruben Gutierrez. A fantastic weekend so far for the RPG driver on the podium yesterday. And Gutierrez now out to a nice 0.4 of a second lead. He's getting some help here from Maxwell Macha, who's doing the defending for P2. He's got Woon right behind him. Walcott, Samet, Pettit all lining things up. Macha holding back the Lions as Gutierrez trying to stretch away.
And if he holds it back too far, even though we're only coming to halfway, it will be all said and done and all she wrote here in X30 Junior. However, Ashton Woon with a big run. Let's see how aggressive he is. He's going to be very aggressive all the way to the inside. He'll get the better of Macha right there and be able to move his way up and into 2nd. Behind him, Macha is going to lose 1, 2, maybe 4 as he tries to fend off DeGennaro.
Yeah, both the BJR drivers able to get by Samet and Pettit lining up. They rolled right by him as well, so a lot of issues there for Macha going backwards. He'll try to stop the damage here. Gutierrez out to the lead. 0.8 of a second is what he's able to get out of that entire deal. But the driver we've got to watch here as well, back in the 10th position with the fast lap of the race, Colton Schniegenberg. Quick lap there, coming across the line with a 57.250. P10 up 6. Schniegenberg started 16th. Xander up into P10.
Look at Nico Gutowski equally trying to go forward on Calderon. He'll make that move stick. Tristan Murphy is buried back there as well. So all those drivers here way back. Murphy now on Gutowski, fighting to get into the top 10. Letting the leaders run further away as Gutowski answers. And Macha gets finally a bit of room to breathe. His teammate DeGennaro sending it on Mason Berry. Colton Schniegenberg nowhere to go there as he tries to fight on by.
Constant chaos throughout this race here. Finally settling down a little bit up front right now. The top 5 have been able to break away. It's Pettit and Samet 4th and 5th, trying to reel in that front-running trio of Gutierrez, Woon, and Walcott. The gap was 0.8 of a second only a couple of laps ago. Woon has eaten it down to just 0.3 of a second. He was a 56.816 as the fast lap there last time by for Ashton Woon. He is up on the wheel right now. Woon closing in on Gutierrez.
Ashton Woon closing that gap last lap by. It was just shy of 0.4. It's down to a bumper length. He'll have a run at him if he wants it here on this straightaway alone. 3.5 gained to nothing. And now to the lead. Ashton Woon is through in turn number 12, coming to 3 laps to go. Oh, for a moment. Gutierrez right back in on him. And here we go. A dogfight in the top 5. Pettit up to 3rd.
What a great repass there by Gutierrez, right? Lost a position with a nice move to the inside, but knowing that he would push wide a little bit, able to dive back down the inside. It's a mid-race rocket here right now for Woon as he'll go to the inside of turn number 1, locks it down in turn number 2. He'll get the help from Pettit as well. Travis Pettit in the 729 in that Lando Norris machine. Locks himself onto the rear bumper of Gutierrez, making a 5-driver fight up front. 2 drivers involved, William Vitor being one. No, 3, maybe 4 drivers involved in an incident in turn number 3.
Mason Berry, William Vitor, looked like Clayton Stiles got a piece of it, and I think he was the driver in the wall. We'll take a look when we have a moment. Right now, there is still nothing but chaos up front. Woon, Gutierrez, Pettit going to open up here, realizing he had a gap to do so. Nowhere to go with the run as they continue to park it on the inside and back things up further here in the top 5. Next up would be Maxwell Macha to reclaim a spot in the top group as he's gotten full and away from that second pack. 2 laps to go. Ashton Woon leads the way down to turn number 1.
Yeah, how much low lining are we going to see here? Woon down to the bottom. Gutierrez has got to watch out because he didn't know how Pettit's going to be aggressive. Yellow flags flying in turn number 3 for the incident. The SKUSA crew doing their best to clean that up and make sure the driver's out of harm's way. Woon still leads. Gutierrez, Pettit, Samet, Walcott on the scene as well. So top 5 drivers, nose to tail. Low line defense down into turn number 7. Woon doing everything he can to hold him back.
Ashton Woon missed the curb a little bit there, but made sure he set himself up on the inside to cover in 11, and again on the inside up the hill, backing him up. Here comes Walcott. He almost got a nose underneath Marco Samet. Couldn't quite pick his pocket there.
How hungry is Maxwell Macha getting from P6?
I don't know. Maxwell Macha is just watching this gap close on down. He's almost arrived. White flag waving here from Aaron Likens at the front straightaway. 1 to go. 6 of them almost together. More on the way. Pettit trying to cross anyone up as they fight to the bottom. Pettit to the high side, looking for second, maybe third. He'll end up potentially losing out on it because Gutierrez ended up back in it. Samet kicking up some water. That'll get everyone out of sorts into 4, and Macha is going to get at least 1. He slides just ahead of Grayson Walcott.
Yeah, Gutierrez was so close to getting to the inside of Woon, coming out of 1 to get him into turn number 2, but just not quite enough. And Woon's ability to scoot through there really, I think, gave him a little bit of a breathing room here right now because Pettit right there, big run on Gutierrez. Again, Woon to the bottom of the racetrack. Look at the fight further back there for 5th, 6th, and 7th. There's a little shot in the rear for Gutierrez on Woon. He's going to try to bring it home. Here comes a move to the inside. Not quite enough. A lot of action in the top 10 here to cap things off.
All the while, Ashton Woon trying to make up those championship points. This will be good. Pre-final win in the books. Ashton Woon scores the 100-point marker there over Gutierrez. Travis Pettit keeps the championship close there. Keeps that lead he had coming in today, with another consistent finish in 3rd. Marco Samet 4th, and on that final run, you mentioned it, Rob, things were still going, and Mateo Calderon gets bit at the last hour, the last second, with the left front tie rod destroyed on that Speed Concepts racing machine.
Tristan Murphy up 13, started 21st, up into 8th. Here's the replay. I told you, almost through there for Gutierrez. If it wasn't for the fact that we saw the 2 BJR drivers side by side, I think Gutierrez may have lost a spot. Look at this.
Yeah, Pettit was ready for them to all go really easy into the turn, but as soon as he ended up 3 wide, he couldn't quite close the door down.
Yeah. Man, and again, Samet was right there. Look how close that is.
Oof. It was a good thought there for Travis to try and make something happen there, but ultimately, 3rd is still going to do, and that was a smart job to play the cards at hand and not overdo it for Travis Pettit to get some good points. Ashton Woon continues out in front after that moment there to hang on for the pre-final win. Ruben Gutierrez, great weekend here for the Rollins Performance Group driver. Really a statement kind of weekend to assert himself into the conversation of the top juniors in the year.
Yeah, I got to say that as well. Really stepping things up, and he's been challenged too, is right. And instead of going all the way back, able to keep himself right where he needs to be. A couple of shots potentially going at Woon, but to have guys like Pettit and Samet and Macha behind you, putting all that pressure on, a great run for Ruben Gutierrez to P2 to put himself on the outside of the front row for the main event this afternoon. It'll be Woon and Gutierrez on row 1, Pettit alongside his teammate Samet on row number 2, and Macha and Walcott on row number 3.
Well, as the last bit of cleanup gets underway, you saw Ashton Woon made his way through the scale line. And again, we'll get a better real picture of the championship later on today. The big reason for that of course, with the pre-drop standings was Travis Pettit had such a run of consistency in these first 4 rounds, and this round still looks like it's going to be another high-scoring one for him. He could very well, with a good main event today in X30 Junior, enter Newcastle with a mulligan at hand.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of pressure off when you've got 4 really good point scores already going into the weekend. You only need 1 more to add to your total. But after the main event, we'll get to see, with the drops factored in for the 1 or 2 bummer rounds for some of the drivers trying to contend with him for the championship, how much things could tighten up. Hard to get that fully for you midday. We'll have that, of course, on Championship Sunday when we go through things a little bit further. But at least in terms of pre-drop, that's kind of how they stack up at the moment. Pettit still with the lead. It closes up by 20 there in the pre-drop standings. Back to Ashton Woon, Tristan Murphy, Maxwell Macha, Grayson Walcott. They're all a number of drivers that'll be banking on a drop round over these first 4 rounds and having to be mistake-free and picture-perfect through today and rounds 5 and 6 at the Summer Nats in 6 weeks' time. The mainstay at Newcastle Motorsports Park, the host of the Summer Nationals, going all the way back to 2015. Let's head down to pit lane. Caleb Vieska catching up with some of our X30 Junior aftermath.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. I'm standing by here with Ruben Gutierrez. Ruben, a second place yesterday, a second place today in the pre-final. Again, just tell me about your weekend up to this point. Ruben, segundo ayer en la final y otra vez aquí segundo en la pre-final. Nomás dime de tu fin de semana hasta este punto.
Pues me siento muy bien porque pienso que lo he hecho bien, pero creo que hoy puedo ganar porque estuve toda la carrera primero, pero Ashton me alcanzó, pero está muy bien.
Ruben, again, saying that he's had a very good weekend up to this point, has been very fast, knows that he has pace to win later on today, and then got away there early, and Ashton just kind of caught him a little bit too late. And again, Ruben, you're a product of SKUSA Mexico and the expansion of Superkarts USA out there. You're a micro Swift champion. How different is it coming over here and racing in the States? Rubén, eres un producto de SKUSA México, campeón también en la micro, y aquí pues otro fin de semana en X30 Junior. ¿Qué tan diferente se hace para ti venirte acá y correr en SKUSA USA?
Que es mucho más nivel que en México, aunque está muy bueno el nivel allá, pero está difícil, muy buenos pilotos, pero me estoy divirtiendo.
And again, Ruben saying that the level is very high here in the U.S. They're still high level at SKUSA Mexico, but a very high level here in the U.S. as well. Muchas gracias, Ruben.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, Ruben, and we'll catch up with them later on today. Thank you, guys.
Great to hear from Ruben Gutierrez, and of course the international audience, the international driver list here at the SKUSA Pro Tour, attracting some of the best talent from all around the world. 2 classes still to go here with pre-final action on tap. Mini Swift getting ready to go and Pro X30 to follow. We'll take a break. 2 more races here before we have a short break in the action, and then racing to finish off Sunday.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Ready to go for the Mini Swift division presented by Mega Power Racing Engines. And a full house of about 26 parading their way around the circuit here, getting set to go green for their 8-lap distance pre-final. This one should be interesting because I don't want to say it'll be chaos. Their main event, very tame. Their qualifying, setting the stage for what could be another 2-driver breakaway. Teammates up on the front row. Ryan Perry Motorsport, Nitro Kart. They've been dialed in this weekend. They've had a couple of competitors be able to bring things close and make things interesting. The likes of Hudson Howard was fastest in happy hour. Dutch Westbrook mixed things up yesterday. But again, they are outnumbered. Slate Harrell on the red and black MPG Motorsports entry, rolling from the 4th spot. Jaden Francisco from the front row yesterday, back to 5th. We'll keep tabs on it all as they roll into the tram lines here and get set to go. Looking for action. Mini Swift style. The pre-final from Cincinnati is green.
Great start for the drivers up front coming through turn number 1. Do they get through cleanly here? Nicely done thus far. Out to the early lead is Mason Brody in the 109. Good start as well for Dutch Westbrook as he slides into second. Got to split up those RPM drivers up front. But Mason Brody will lead him into turn number 6 and 7 for the first time. There's Slate Harrell lining up as well with the 112 of Marcelo Flores. Those drivers back in 5th and 6th now. So indeed, the opening run down through turns number 9, 10, here through 11, over the rise down the hill into turn number 12. First time through that 12, 13, 14 complex. The big sweeping left-hander. Here comes to the inside. Westbrook looking for a bid for the lead. Little contact mid-corner. Not going to have the inside. He'll try to pinch to the outside. Watch the drivers line up around side Westbrook. We've talked a lot about trying to get that inside mover to 14. Xander, it does not work. He's going to get freight trained back to P4.
And he's outnumbered 3-1. The Nitro Karts there. He was going to get no help even if it would have been the preferred lane. Francisco, though, going to go in on his teammate for the lead. Jaden Francisco from 5th to 1st here in a lap and 2 turns. Mason Brody back to 2nd. Lucas Tarango having a solid run in 3rd. And Westbrook's going to try and split him away from the 2 teammates in front. Go back on by him there. And a pair of Paralins behind them. That's Marcelo Flores in the 112 closing in. Forrest Blair under pressure from Slate Harrell for that 6th spot. Harrell was able, or no, Brody Stoffel actually able to get that spot away. Back for 6th. He had lost it earlier in the lap. He's now got it back, it looks like. And just enough changing for 3rd and for 6th to kind of loosely reconnect the entire lead group. And now we might see another change for the lead as Francisco went way wide. And that thought had to have crossed Mason Brody's mind, but he didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, you wonder if you're thinking about the success of yesterday, right? Being able to pull away these 2 drivers once they lock together very strong and getting away. Makes the move to the inside, really keeps shaking things up. Right now, they lock to go P1 and P2. We can see exactly what we saw yesterday. Again, we said this before, Mason Brody, absolutely a fantastic wingman yesterday, staying with Jaden Francisco. Just didn't have what it took at the very end, those last couple of laps, to potentially go to P1, but a strong 2nd place finish in round number 3 here at the Spring Nats. We'll see whether or not it plays out again. Right now, 4-driver breakaway, but it's the 2 RPM drivers, Xander, P1 and P2. Very similar to what we saw yesterday afternoon.
3 packs definitively split now here, working through lap number 3. Going back to Stoffel on this first group here. Slate Harrell about another half second to a full second back with Aiden Go, Samuel Chavarri, and then a little more of a split to Hudson Howard in 11th as things begin to open up here for the lead. Westbrook trying to split him up again as he makes that pass for 2nd. Flores able to walk through a very open door there for 4th.
I think if you're Westbrook, you have to do it. You
have no choice.
You can't let these guys lock and load and pull away. You got to, even if you lose a little bit like he did there from Francisco, better to get to the inside to separate those 2 RPM drivers. That's the last thing you want. He's got to go right back at him again here. Flores is up in there on the Paralin as well. Otherwise, Tarango, Stoffel, they're all trying to get to the front to see if they can't team up with their fellow stablemates.
And again, Dutch Westbrook, along with the rest of the field, right? Thinking about yesterday, Hudson Howard, another one of them, the Paralins of Marcelo Flores, Forrest Blair. They had so many laps where they were in tandems, right? It was packs of 2 all the way down to almost 10th place, watching and knowing and basically burning into their memory, etching into their memory what it could happen if you allowed Jaden Francisco and Mason Brody to hook up and drive away. And they have now done everything in their power to split those 2 up. Brody's trying to get a spot back for 3rd. A little contact here. Flores inside, brings his teammate now on by, and Brody goes back to 5th. That'll spread things out at the halfway point. 4 down, 4 to go. We go down to the off-pole man for Pro X30 coming up as well. Caleb Viesca standing by with Oliver Hodgson as we fight still for 3rd.
Yeah, Oliver, again, a chaotic qualifying session at the end of things, but you actually benefited from it, able to put a lap in, a good enough lap, like you said, able to put yourself in second, but it has been a rough weekend up to this point. Just tell me about it.
Yeah, I guess obviously that start of the final yesterday was hurt a lot, and yeah, looking forward to today. Hopefully we can control our destiny from this point a little bit more, and yeah, excited to get racing from the front row here.
What have you learned about this place? I know you've been here a couple of times, but it seems like every time that we come out here, it throws something new, something different at us.
Yes, it's an interesting track, because I think it's very tight, twisty, and it's got these heavy braking zones, but you don't necessarily drive it the way you would think for a track with this layout. So yeah, I don't think I've actually fully hit my stride here. Maybe today I can change that.
What do you think you need to hit that stride?
It's just got to click for me. So yeah, we made some progress yesterday, though hopefully I can make a step forward here again today.
Best of luck, Oliver.
Thank you.
Back at it here with 5 laps into an 8-lap pre-final for the drivers here in the Mega Power Racing Mini Swift category. Only one more pre-final on the day. One more pre-final actually on the weekend, as we'll have the Pro X30 drivers out next before we start looking forward to Pro Shifter and the remainder of the main events here. Round 4 of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, the 17th running of the Superkarts USA Spring Nationals. This program starting back in 2010 at Sonoma Raceway. And indeed, this Pro Tour rolling through to see who's going to step up moving into the Summer Nationals in a couple months' time, or a month, just over a month's time. Francisco still the leader here in this Mini Swift pre-final. A little bit more action. We were stacked and packed there for a number of laps, Xander, but it's stretched out quite a bit here over the last 2 circuits.
It certainly has. It is all kind of spread apart now, and as they roll onto the front straightaway, 2 laps to go. Jaden Francisco, he has not really had any challenge. I mean, Dutch Westbrook, every time it looked like he was about to get a new wingman, either one of the Paralins, Aiden Go, Marcelo Flores, well, Aiden Go jumping up here late, but Marcelo Flores or Forrest Blair, the moment either one of them got to third, they got passed back again. Mason Brody was able to finally get away from him and shuffle them back, and so Dutch Westbrook's been basically in a head-to-head lap time fight with Jaden Francisco, and he's only been able to at best match him. If not, he's been a little bit off, and the last couple of laps have gone the way of the leader. The gap up to 1.2 seconds. Westbrook's now going to have to deal with Mason Brody before it's said and done, and Slate Harrell is a little ways down the road before he could get in there to mix things up. So Jaden Francisco a lap and a quarter away from what could be a cruise to the finish. The fight will be on for second, and the fight will be on, it looks like, for fourth, as here comes Brody for P2.
Nicely done, right to the inside. Oh, back to the inside comes Westbrook. I was going to say that was a really nice pass there for Brody, leaning on the rear bumper a little bit, coming through turn number 12, and then releasing down to the inside, but just not able to get that run out into turn number 9 to pinch things down. Brody's going to try around the outside.
Unreal. Mason Brody just opened up the throttle, opened his hands, and ripped the outside lane through turn 1. Westbrook's so bogged down, Slate Harrell got the better of him in 2.
Yeah, Harrell able to do the over-under after the big move to the outside for Mason Brody. So that was a fantastic run. I think probably caught Westbrook off a little bit, carrying so much speed around the outside to get that pass done. So Harrell now in the middle of the fight with Westbrook, who goes back by the inside of turn number 7. This will bring Lucas Tarango and Forrest Blair back into it as well. So the final lap for Mini Swift may look easy for Tristan Francisco, or Jaden rather, Francisco, but from the drivers behind Brody, the dogfight is on.
Yeah, this is going to be wild here to the finish. Mason Brody trying to get back away from them all. He will be. Dutch Westbrook's group, single file, and Jaden Francisco will round the dog leg for an easy run to the line. A thumbs up to the fence. He'll take the pre-final in Mini Swift to Brody, to Westbrook. Forrest Blair will end up 4th. Lucas Tarango 5th as they shuffle behind them. Hudson Howard's got a group at bay. He'll end up winning that fight for 9th. Drag racing further back. That was Lachlan Postel and Axel Gomez. Just 5 thousandths in the difference for 16th.
All right, well, a lot tamer than I thought it was going to be as the battle kind of fired the things up over the last couple of corners there. But yeah, everybody kind of settling in. Francisco winning by 1.8 seconds, able to get away from the chaos. Brody, who fell back to 5th for a time, fights his way back to 2nd. Dutch Westbrook, the interloper in there, trying to keep that RPM duo separated. Good run for Forrest Blair. Slate Harrell got his way up to 3rd at one point, ends up getting shuffled back to P6. So he was the driver who took the negative on that last lap is Blair and Tarango, both able to get by. But again, Slade Harrell earning his position within that top 10, so a good run for him. Aiden Go, Brody Stoffel, Hudson Howard, and Samuel Chaveri finishing up your top 10 there. Biggest mover was Forrest Blair, Xander +9. Started 13th, up to P4.
Solid stuff for Forrest Blair. But like you said, big mover only up 9. We haven't seen any crazy charges yet today. Will we see them? I think we have pretty good odds of it in the next class coming up, because every qualifying session we saw a little bit of chaos. Pro X30 we saw a lot, and this will be one to watch. We'll be right back after this here, folks. Pro X30, the last session before a short break in the action, is coming your way. The biggest stars all following the Spanish Salmon to Green. Ruben Moya getting ready to lead the field when we return.
Starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib bags.
Get that. Don't get double file. Everybody else can get double file. You know, everybody's all spread out. You guys are rolling to get the grades. If you guys get your car spread out, we'll point to your guys' eyes, point to back the field. You know, you guys got strategies back there. You set the pace, you've earned it. You follow the pace. Make sure it's appropriate, consistent. If you didn't make going, get all the way to the box. Start the race in the box. Good luck, help.
That's why he and I get along so well.
Here we go. Ready to go green for Nash Motorsports Pro X30. Ruben Moya, Oliver Hodgson, and a massive shakeout further back in the grid. Paulie Massimino was the fastest in happy hour, and after the speed displayed yesterday, he had certainly a target on his back coming into round number 4's action, and that was put on full display in qualifying. He took his time warming up his tires. At any point, the field could have gone by him. They opted not to, and what ended up happening, everybody only got 2 full laps in, 1 true lap at speed, and a number of the big guns were caught out by it. So as we go through and show you a number of the names and faces here on this outlap, warming things up and trying to get going, you'll notice there, just flurrying by, yesterday's winner, Gus Lawrence, was one of those that got bit. He got passed by Joe Turney on the start of the one and only full-speed lap the field gave themselves in qualifying, and he and Blake Nash especially were duking it out later on in that lap, put both of them down the leaderboard. On top of that, of course, it allowed Ruben Moya and Caden McQueen, who waited, let the whole field go in front of them, knowing they were only going to get 2 laps, to go way higher than where they were yesterday. McQueen inside the top 10 and Ruben Moya on the pole by the biggest margin we've seen all season, 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, look at those 2 drivers right there, 16th and 17th. Gus Lawrence, James Overbeck way back. Mason Williams down in 19th. Davin Roberts 21st. Keegan Kaminsky 22nd. So many drivers getting caught out by that essentially 1 lap dash. Just something I haven't seen. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that where it came down to 1 lap, because really nobody even got rolling until the second fastest lap. They gave that lap away as well. Nobody really jetted away, and that really surprised me. So I thought somebody might get out early to try to make sure they got their laps. They did not. Moya and Hodgson on the front row, Turney and Ramos row 2, Brown and Massimino on row number 3.
A very slow start for Moya on the right there in the blue, white, and yellow Pantano. The red and black factory cart for Hodgson on your left. In the lanes, they have to wait all the way to the blue cones for the start box. Moya can go whenever he wants. And the time is now. Pro X30's pre-final is green from Cincinnati.
Not the best start for Hodgson. He'll lose at least one position. Turney able to go up into P2. Hodgson finally he'll slot himself in there into third position. Massimino up there into fourth. So early start, not surprising. Moya taking full advantage of that pole position. He'll go to P1, leading him down into turn number 6 and 7. Do we see a quick attack? We do not. Moya takes the Pantano out of turn number 7, P1.
Look at the gaggle there behind. The top 7 have gotten away cleanly. Moya with a big mistake there in turn number 10. Missed the curb, and thankfully he recovered nicely there. Cold tires catching him out, and probably a lot of others in the field as the fight is on. Blake Nash versus Eric Doan here, back for P8. Where is Gus Lawrence? Somewhere back there with Jesus Vasquez Jr. all the way back. A good ways back from the leaders as Blake Nash fights his way through with Doan, brings Donovan Bonilla through. And at the end of the opening lap, we've got them all, but there is some separation for sure. Back from Caden McQueen. Moya leads to Turney, to Hodgson, down to turn number 2.
Yeah, looks like probably 8 drivers in that lead group. Watching to see where Lawrence comes across on. He gets a couple up to 14th on the opening circuit. Turney settling in as he normally does. No real sense of urgency here, knowing that they're able to pull away a little bit. Hodgson right there as well. So it's the Spaniard leading the British driver. And the American, Oliver Hodgson, a little smile out of Xander's face there, running in that third position. Massimino fourth. Oh, a little pressure there from Massimino on Hodgson. Xander gets a good run out of turn number 11.
Yeah, I think Paulie was kind of indecisive. I think he was thinking he was going to be not close enough to pull the trigger in 11. Then he ended up being close enough, and at that point it was too late.
Yeah.
Got into the back of Ollie just a little bit, but Hodgson not rattled by it. Great run for Oliver through those hairpins. That'll close everyone up. Turney looking back, realizing Hodgson's a little bit closer. Watch for a move potentially in turn 2 right here. I don't think Turney wants to wait too long behind Ruben Moya, but he is still biding his time as they roll through the first hairpin.
Yeah, top 7, then another second and a half back to Nash, Bonilla, and Jake Drew. Here comes Turney, as ordered by Xander Clemens, waiting a little bit of time, then finally making the move to the inside of turn number 4. So move Turney in the MPG Kart Republic to P1. Moya back into second. See what we have further back there with Turner Brown 6, Caden McQueen 7th.
Diego Ramos went purple the lap before. Don't forget, he started last yesterday, almost made it onto the podium. He's got to be someone that everyone's a little bit worried about if they get too far behind him or if they allow him to get in front as we watch them all stack up behind Moya and Turney in the hairpins. Moya ready to stuff right back for the lead. Hodgson follows, and back goes Ruben Moya to the front.
Massimino wisely getting back in and even moving a little bit over to driver's left to try to hold everybody back off. It's not going to be enough either, as here comes Ramos. He'll make his way through as well, so Ramos and Brown go up into 4th and 5th. I think Massimino potentially back to P6, indeed in front of Caden McQueen. I'll say this. Keep an eye on Ramos. I really think that their progression on that chassis setup has been fantastic. It feels like every session he comes out, they're getting a little bit better. Caleb talked to him about it. He said the same thing. It's like everything they do is moving them in the right direction.
And now with Turner Brown being a little bit wary of Massimino behind him, he's got some separation. Let's see if Paulie tries to go soon. Nope, Turner looking good and pulling away. Now, Gus Lawrence, fastest on the circuit. He's gotten up to 11th. A bit of a slow start there. It didn't really have any gaps opening for him or opportunities in the first few laps, but now Hodgson laden over the curbing in the last turn. New leader, Oliver Hodgson over Ruben Moya, and as they roll out of the dog leg, Turney even got around Hodgson.
Yeah.
I don't know how he managed to do that, but Joe Turney to the front here at the end of the lap.
Yeah, I see the drivers showing a bit of aggression here right now. Hodgson back to the inside, book it. He'll go to the inside of Turney. Moya's going to come with him, so Turney from 1st to 3rd in a matter of 1 corner. Hodgson tried to lock down that lead, finally able to get that done. Great pass over in the 13 and 14, as Xander had talked about, but it didn't end up that way coming down to turn number 1. All told, Hodgson and the factory cart now goes back to the lead. And as he told Caleb before the race here, looking to try to maybe hold this race now in his own destiny. Oh, inside the contact between both Moya and Turney coming out of turn 11.
Moya tried to go on Hodgson. It wasn't there. He popped him, and then as Turney crossed him up, he ended up in and onto the side tires of Joe Turney. craziness here. It's finally starting to temper out just a hair. Oliver Hodgson to the lead with a little bit of a gap as Gus Lawrence locks onto the leaders halfway in. Caleb, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Xander. I'm standing by in turn 1, turn 2. Light rain starting to, again, come down here.
And that'll be something, again, that already has plagued us once. It happened during KA Senior. It might happen here during Pro X30 into the lunch break. Diego Ramos up to third off the aftermath of that chaos, all with Moya having a move that just did not quite pan out for the lead. It's penalized him down to the 4th position. Paulie Massimino in and out of all of that was able to get back around Turner Brown. He's now working the back of Moya, looking to see what will happen next here for the 306. And the 303, they've got a little gap back to Brown and Nash, Bonilla, Drew, Lawrence, Eric Doan is there as well.
Yeah, big opportunity for Lawrence to get back in, 2.2 back. He's in the tail of that group. Then you go another second back to Eric Doan and Arthur Barbe. But right now, yeah, great stuff up front for Hodgson, pulling a bit of a gap right now over Turney. Ramos looks good in second. We'll see whether or not Paulie Massimino able to find that way by Moya. I thought we may have saw a run coming out of turn number 11 on that last time by. Looked like he was setting up to come to driver's left to get that move down to the inside. Here's a move there for Moya. Yeah, back to the inside once again. He gets by Ramos, move Moya back into to P3 rather.
Massimino had a little look back there, and I don't know what the hand signal was to Turner Brown, but I think it was to wait and see what happens to the two in front of us as Joe Turney closes up here to Oliver Hodgson. Got in a little bit deep there from 10 to 11. That opened that gap back up. And those two still close. Coming to 3 laps to go this time by. Time is short here in this pre-final, and again, they're still pretty close together, but Moya beginning to defend a little bit here for third. He might feel the pressure enough from Ramos to start defending again as Turney goes for the lead. Turn 1, Joe Turney is through, back out front once again.
Yeah, he turned the fastest lap of the race just 1 lap before that for Hodgson. A little bit better through 10 and 11 last time. I think held him at bay down into 12. This time he makes the run on the outside of turn number 16 into the inside of turn number 1. Move Turney back to P1. Hodgson's going to try to see if he can't go right back by. And right there as the laps are winding away here in our last pre-final of this year's Spring Nationals. You've got Moya, Ramos, Massimino right there as well. Paulie trying to get back up in the fight. Turner Brown not that far back as well as that front-running 6 drivers ready to fight it out. Here we go. They're lining things up for the last couple laps.
Moya up and over the curbing. He had a big lap that time, but Ramos was right there with him. Someone's going to go here. It's going to be Moya into the side of Hodgson. Here comes Ramos, Massimino, Turner Brown into the grass, trying to make the move stick. He'll get the one. It'll be the one that get burned by it. And into the white flag is coming out next time. Still 2 more laps to go. Brown under pressure to the wayside. McQueen and Nash getting by him now.
Let's see what Hodgson does here. He can't be too thrilled with that pass by Moya up over top of the curb and right into him on the exit of turn number 14. He'll cover the bottom as he's trying to hold off now. Blake Nash is back up in the fight here. Up front, these drivers away from the chaos. Turney and Ramos now first and second. Massimino finds himself P3.
Turner Brown, I think, got into the back of Caden McQueen. Kind of gave a little wave there and an apology, but harm was done for sure. 2 spots lost for Caden as he falls behind Gus Lawrence. Massimino and Ramos, they've worked together beautifully in KA Senior. Will they work together here, or will they begin to fight it out and give Joe Turney an easy run to the line here in the pre-final? 1 lap to decide it. Ramos has had exceptional pace across both days. That was a great launch out of the hairpin, but he needs a mega lap here to bring the fight to JT with 1 to go.
Yeah, coming across the line, the gap about 0.6 of a second. Last time by a 56.1 for Ramos. Same, maybe a couple of hundredths of a second faster. Enough of a gap right now at 0.6 for Turney. And again, this is the issue for Ramos. Now he's got to think about Massimino. Same thing's going further back. You see the battle there as those drivers battling it out. Nash, Lawrence up to 7th now.
Yeah, Blake Nash equally going forward here. Jake Drew and Keaton Kaminsky. Kaminsky all the way back from 22nd now into this pack as Nash tries to fend off Lawrence. Nothing there. Brown losing a spot. McQueen's going to get the better of him. Sends the rookie backwards as Bonilla and Drew and the rest of them all the way to Doan are lined up. Here comes the leaders. Out of the last couple turns, Ramos will cover just enough. He'll come up about a lap, maybe 2 shy. It'll be Joe Turney out of turn 16. Cruise into the line here for the pre-final win in Pro X30. Ramos, Massimino, Moya, Hodgson, and to the line. Nash will hang on to 6th over Lawrence. Caden McQueen musters an 8th out of it all. Donovan Bonilla goes forward. Jake Drew, another top 10 result. Turner Brown in the mix, and one move that honestly it's hard to say it was the wrong call. He didn't have a lot of options there when Moya and Hodgson cut together, but he ends up the worst off from it, dropping down the board to 11th.
Yeah, take the temperature on this category right now. I feel like things are starting to heat up. There was a little bit of anxiousness to that race for sure. Joe Turney, after a disappointing day yesterday where they, I think, went maybe just in the wrong direction on chassis setup. They made some moves on the chassis, and it just did not play. He'll be happy with a pre-final victory here, especially knowing that rain could potentially be coming this afternoon. On the pole position, Joe Turney, man, he would be very tough to beat. Ramos, I think, is going to be happy as well with P2. Paulie Massimino did not seem too anxious, trying to force the issue there. A third-place run for Massimino. Again, talking about championship and all those points that are available in these pre-finals. Ruben Moya ends up in the 4th spot. The driver started on the pole back a little bit there. Hodgson in the 5th position. Nash, Lawrence up 9 positions. I think Gus pretty happy with that, I would think, starting 16th up to 7th. Inside row 4 for the start for the main event. Not the worst thing after a really rough qualifying run.
Not at all. The only thing that would have made it a little better or a little less worse is had this guy not won. Already 3 phenomenally consistent performances on the books here for Joe Turney. He'll grab the maximum points haul from the round 4 pre-final with that win as he goes to the scales and gets ready to lift that card up and send it into tech, because again, everyone else behind him's had one downbeat day, if not more. They are banking on a drop already to keep things interesting. Of course, the best 5 out of 6 in the championship, but with the pre-drop standings, it just looks like a Joe Turney show, and that session continued to bolster it.
Again, big run for Gus Lawrence, back +9, but fast, biggest mover actually, the hard charger, was Keegan Kaminsky, +10, started 22nd. He gets up to 12th position, so outside row 6 start for Keegan Kaminsky in the GFC.
Here's a look again at those pre-drops. Turney adds a little bit more, and again, before the drops really get factored in, we'll get a full picture with the drops later on today, but provisionally, JT adds to the lead, and he's down with Caleb off that pre-final win.
Yeah, Joe, again, a good turnaround from yesterday after that main event. You just kind of faded off, and then today, speed looked pretty good. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we just made a change for the final yesterday and just sort of ruined everything. But yeah, we still salvaged 6th then, so no, got everything back to how we know today, and it's clearly fast. So yeah, it'd be nice to go off pole. It's been our first pole for a little while, so it'll be good.
And again, just going back on yesterday, right, finding yourself going the wrong direction. Why does that happen to racing drivers, Joe? Why do you end up going the wrong direction when you're looking for a little bit more?
Well, it just happens, like, you can't go forward every race, and yeah, in some go-kart races you're going to go backwards and you just accept it. Like, I could have just low-lined the whole race when I got into the lead, knowing that I was slow, but I probably deserved to finish 6th, so I just finished 6th.
How are you feeling going on to the main event later today?
Yeah, good. I think kart feels okay, so let's do what we can and try and maximize.
And I know it's starting to sprinkle here. Is that starting to get in your mind here a little bit, thinking about the rain potentially?
Yeah, I think it's on everyone's minds, but we'll take what comes and try and do the maximum as always. But yeah, we'll definitely shake things up a bit.
Thank you for the time, Joe.
Thank you.
Xander, I have a feeling that Joe Turney doesn't care which way it works, because in the rain he's going to be fast. He's already shown what he's got in the dry too. So I don't know that the weather change is going to make any difference if Joe Turney is going to be in the fight for the race win.
No, but I think there was something interesting there in his answer too, talking about yesterday that he could have been over-aggressive to try to get more out of it when he really had a 6th-place car, and instead he said, you know what, I'm going to just ride around and take it. And the difference there being that you haven't frustrated the rest of the field for the day. When you do have a faster car, you might get a couple of breaks or at least not have as much discomfort trying to pass some drivers when it's not their day.
It's the mark of a champion and a veteran driver. You understand the kart you have, and you maybe overachieve, but you don't throw a race away for sure.
No, and you don't hinder yourself for tomorrow. But here we go. The rain is here. The break has started. Pro Shifter is going to have their main event completely blind as we watch the rain begin to come down now. This is chaos at the ultimate chaos time. The only difference is, of course, obviously they still have ample time to make the adjustments to the setup We knew there was always a chance. We had the small bits at multiple points threatened for about 2 minutes at most. And the cell at the moment, so small, it's not even showing on the radar. And yet, here we are at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati for the first time in the facility's history of our national events coming to it. We are setting up for what could be a wet weather main event in Pro Shifter and potentially more classes like the one that just wrapped, Pro X30. Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. And indeed, we've been going back and forth, and you guys said I was going to jinx it. Looks like I did. I don't think I'm too sad about it because we are in for a good day of racing here coming up. And this is, again, the heaviest rain that we've had on a Sunday, on a Saturday. Whenever Kart Chaser has been here at MCC, we've never been in a situation like this with rain. And again, it's starting to pick up above us. And you can see the racetrack, all the hard work that these drivers have been doing, all the hard work that Sean Bailiff has been doing today to dry off this racetrack, to blow puddles off the track. All that's coming undone right now because, again, that asphalt surface has darkened. And I think we might have a wet weather race later on today. Back to you guys.
Well, again, Caleb's right. He did jinx it.
He did.
Our meteorologist on our crew knew it was going to hit before 4, or we were going to get something. Now, how much, of course, is the big question. I mean, obviously it's still light enough you can see the individual droplets over here on the camera back over at our end of the S's section, but it won't take a lot with no go-karts running on the track for that dry line to be gone and force the wet tires.
And 40 minutes. Right? Here's the countdown to green right here. 40 minutes until we go racing. If the rain doesn't stop and we keep this the whole time, we're going to have a wet racetrack. It's not going to transition at all. Very likely, unless this stops within the next a few minutes, we're going to see some wet weather racing for the drivers in Pro Shifter.
Well, we'll take a break, folks. Countdown to green's underway. Conditions changing by the minute here at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. We'll see you when we get ready for Pro Shifter.